The industry perspective is a space for those in the industry to speak freely about their experiences without fear of retaliation or a negative review.
Mm.
The views and opinions shared here are solely that of the individual and do not reflect the establishments in which they work. With that said,
Yeah.
if you feel offended by these jokes, fuck it. We weren't expecting to get tipped by you anyway. Everyone feel comfortable going now? Cool.
Yes.
All right. I
Let's
completely took the air out of the room.
Let's-
Yeah.
Let's go.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Of course. Air cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Not to knock down everything.
Ooh.
Okay.
All
I don't
right.
know what happened. I was not looking, but I saw different faces.
That'll do it.
I hope that was successful for everyone.
It was great.
From the faces, I can't tell. You and I, we definitely
We're
here.
locked in.
We're ready.
We're
All
locked in.
Speaking of,
Yeah.
welcome everybody to another episode of podcast where we pull back the curtain and show you what goes on behind the scenes of your favorite bars and restaurants, and we like to call that the industry perspective. What's up, motherfuckers? See, I gotta do both. Huzzah, bitches as well. I actually got invited to be on this episode, which is thank you. I mean, I'm very humbled for that, you know.
You're welcome.
I was totally prepared to surrender the floor again, and just let the ladies have the floor.
No,
but
your-
thank you.
Your
for allowing me
energy
to
is
be here.
appreciated. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm very humbled to be here. So,
Yeah.
thank you again for Jamie for coming back, as well as Dez. I'm sure you saw they were on. When are we releasing this? 3 episodes ago, I believe. And we are also joined by Tennie as well. I've been trying to get Tennie on for a while. You know, not that I was trying to get her on before anyone else. It's just I hardly ever see Tennie. She's like a shooting star. So thank you again for coming on. Very glad to have you.
It's my pleasure. Thank
yeah.
you for the invitation.
Of course, of course. Let's move your microphone a little bit closer to you because now you're being all quiet now that the camera's on.
For now. Give her a minute.
So yeah,
I
let's
adjusted my posture.
let's break the ice in the way that I love to do, and let's just address the whiteboard. We'll start there, and then we'll move on to other topics. So as you can see, the whiteboard says, "Are they black or Mexican?" So I'm sure you're wondering why the fuck would we put that on the board, right? I'll tell you why. I was hanging out with Jamie a couple days ago, and they were telling me a story about these guests and everything. And, you know, I'm in a car. So when I'm in a car and I'm not the one driving, it's hard for me to pay attention to what anyone's saying to me unless I'm looking at my phone or playing a game or something. So I wasn't looking at my phone. So therefore I was like half in, half out. And then I heard, are they black or are they Mexican? I was like, huh? So please tell the story. Because I definitely don't want to butcher that, but
Okay, so this was about, I think, last weekend. We had
can we drop the volume over in there, or at least close the door, because we're getting an echo out here.
we had I guess a bridal shower. That first of all, the bridal shower was not supposed to be in the hotel area. It was supposed to be out on the beach. Now, granted, it was really windy, and so they had asked if we can provide them with a space. You know, I was just like, oh, it's a bridal shower, 20 girls, it's fine. You know what? We're not using this space. Complimentary, I will give you the space for free. Usually we charge what, $3,500, $5,000 for the space itself. Complimentary. So these women were there and they were drinking and celebrating as they should. There was a bridal shower. But the service that they were asking for was, so because it was supposed to be on the beach, you don't get a server, right? I'm simply providing a space for them so that they can have the bridal shower. But then when we moved it to the space, they asked for all of these things. And, you know, I was like, you know what? I'll help you out. Like, we'll bring you dishes, we'll bring you silver. But this is now an added service that you're not paying for. You paid for a picnic and that's it. So towards the end of it, which they ended up staying longer than they should have in the space, it was quiet. It was Sunday, not a big deal. They were not watching their stuff, right? It's an open space. I mean, I don't know about you, but if I go out into a restaurant and I have my purse and I step off the floor, I'm gonna say, you know what? Hey girl, can you watch my purse? I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'm gonna take it with me. These girls left their shit everywhere. Everywhere. And so, you know, they left it, turned their backs behind. And then when I tell you that they left their purse unwatched and unattended for 30 minutes to an hour when it got stolen, I had 2 purses get stolen. And all of a sudden it is our fault because I'm supposed to watch your purse. I don't work for you. I'm not going to stand there and
I'll
watch
be
your
honest
purse.
with you. If you leave a purse for 30 minutes, that's not stealing. That's a donation.
Yeah.
You gave that purse up. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And so one purse was stolen, the other one was stolen like 30 minutes later. Like you guys weren't even.
So they didn't learn their lesson.
I don't think they realized it until the very end when they were cleaning up. But again,
This is the definition of fuck around and find out.
yeah, it's your stuff. It like watch your shit. It's not my responsibility. It's like, well, don't you have cameras? And then so I was in the back office, and 2 of the other managers came out because they went to the front desk and started yelling at the managers as if it was their fault that their purses got stolen.
Right.
And so at this point, I was like, you know what? Let me handle it. They're all girls. You guys are just gonna get yelled at, and you guys are gonna say shit that you shouldn't say. I'll just handle it.
Sorry. You said they're all girls. You're just going to get yelled at.
So then when I went out, they started getting loud with me in a sense. Is like, well, who's above you? I was like, well, technically I'm the highest in position right now. So if you would like me to help you, I need you to, 1, lower your voice because you're yelling at people right now and nothing's getting done. Then they started saying like, well, I need you to do this. I was like, you need me to do what? Like, I'm trying to help you. Can you explain to me what the purse looks like, what this and stuff, so I can help you, so I can look at the footage and figure it out. Like, why do you need to know? I was like, well, bitch, there's 20 of you. There's 20 purses. What am I supposed to be looking at? It's a big space. If you don't help me help you, like, what do you want me to do? Like, I get it. It's your purse. You have your credit cards in there, a bunch of your stuff. I get it. Like, it's a scary feeling to lose all your stuff, but you also weren't watching it. So how important was it for you, right? But all of a sudden you're going to turn it and say it's our fault. So finally got one of them to give me some information on what the purse looked like, where they were sitting. And yeah, it took me some time to look at the video footage, and I found out, who took the purse. And when I came back out to just give them some information, like, hey, we called the police. They said that they were going to come. When they come, this isn't high priority. It's like, what? They're not going to come? I was like, you can call as well if you like. But again, they're probably going to tell you the same thing. They don't work for me. What am I supposed to do? Like, you need to come and deal with this. Like, no, they said it wasn't a priority. So it's not my fault that the police aren't going to come to file your report.
Over a purse.
Over a purse that you clearly weren't watching.
It's a purse. It's a priority for you. So why would it be
right.
a priority
They didn't
for
even file a
anyone else?
report for my accident. So
Yeah. So they don't care about your purse.
So when I finally got out there and I was talking to them about like the things that we were helping them do and whatnot, and they're like, it was a guy in the black hat, right? The black guy. I was like, what? He's like, I was like, no, what are you talking about? And then he's like, oh, was it a Mexican? That's where that
Was it? No, I'm kidding.
But it was just so out of pocket that those were the assumptions that you made. And I was like, does it matter? Your purse got stolen. Like at the end of the day, like, are you, yeah.
Wow.
And so not only were they being, aggressive with my team, they were also making out of pocket comments. And it was just like, what do you want me to do for you right now at this point? I'm trying to empathize with you and trying to help you because I get it. You lost your purse. Like, it's a big fucking
I would
deal.
have told her, no, actually, he looks somewhat like you. What are you exactly? Look a lot like you.
Oh, here's the kicker. One of the moms looked at her daughter, that's the person that got the purse stolen, and she says, it's a Lopez. Her last name is Lopez. So I don't even know, like, were you like, yeah, I was like, I don't know if she married out and took her husband's last name, which was Lopez, but the way she said it was like, it's one of your people kind of thing. And I was like,
Oh my God.
yeah, it was a whole thing. And then anyways, but so after the fact, they finally went inside and they were like waiting for the police to come and file the report. And then towards the end of the night, like the police finally came, right? Took the report and everything. I go outside. because they kept requesting to talk to me. And there's not much I can do for you at this point. I told them that I will take care of whatever this bill is, this portion of the bill. It's like, you guys should comp me this whole thing. All of this picnic is the worst. It's like, first of all, you weren't even guaranteed this space.
You weren't supposed to be in here
You
in
weren't
the
even
first
supposed
place.
to be in here. And like, if anything, I should charge you for taking up my space for freaking 3-4 hours and charge you for the service that you didn't pay for, right? All of a sudden, like, not only were you, being rude, yelling at my team, being racist, and then now you're coming at me like I did something to you.
Right.
Actually, it's like, oh, you show no empathy. Da, da, da. Like, all you can say is sorry. Like, well, what else would you like me to say? Like, I've been helping you all day since noon. Okay, now it's 9 p.m. I've been helping you out for 9 hours to set up your event and figure out the stuff that actually is your fault. What I said to them was like, someone saw an opportunity and they took it. It's like, well, you made it seem like it was my fault.
It was.
I don't know what you want me to
Was
say.
I not clear? It was.
I said it in the most professional way I could, and so it's like, bitch, watch your shit. It's your stuff. Like,
Is this your first day? Like, you can't leave
don't leave your stuff. Like,
hers.
no matter where you go, you're gonna watch your stuff. But then they came back at me and was just like, "You're such a robot. These are all like robotic answers from a book. You're an AI. I feel like I'm talking to AI. This is pointless." Then she just went on. I was like, "Okay, I'm so sorry you feel that way, but I did everything I could to help you." At the end of the day, I was just like, "Sure, I'm an AI." What I really think that they were trying to do is to poke the bear and try to just get me to admit fault on everything. And I'm not an idiot. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to make me comp everything, promise you the world. And I'm not going to do that. I know better than do that. I told you what I can do now for you and what I've done for you. But yeah.
Wow. That story to me just sounded like a manager with a backbone. I know we don't always hear those stories, but I commend you for that.
Well, thank you.
Because we've talked about that numerous times on the show about how many times we feel depowered by those managers who just come in and tell the guests that, okay, we'll take care of it and everything, and they just lay down they make their employees kind of lay down on a sword, because they just make it seem like, okay, we're sorry that our employee messed up, we're just going to pay for this, and that just reinforces that behavior every single time. And sometimes you have to take accountability. You left your purse for that long. It's no one else's fault except for yours.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you did everything you could do. You looked at the cameras, spent time with them.
2 hours. I was looking at the camera for 2
It's
hours.
it's a very tedious job to go through hours of footage to find a handbag.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And,
You know what I
and the
mean?
fact that you weren't even helping, because then they just started yelling, like, well, why do you need this information? I was like, well, it's like the blind leading the blind. Like, you tell me your purse is gone. Like, what does it look like? Where was it? It's such a big space that, I mean, there's 20 purses that I can be looking at, 20 girls.
Yeah. I don't think they enjoyed, when you ask those questions, it kind of makes them feel accountable for their own, negligence.
Yeah, you get this. They said, when I I didn't raise my voice. I said very politely, I said, I need you to lower your voice. I need you to take a breath. One of the girls turned to me. She's like, you need to be a lot nicer. I was like, excuse me? You're yelling at me. And I'm asking you to just calm down because I can't help you when you're just yelling.
My job is not to be nice. My job is to provide a service. And right now, apparently, it's a lost and found service. So do you want me to find your bag? Or do you want me to be like, oh, honey, because I can't do both. So pick
Right.
one. I can either find it
Yeah.
or I can sit here and baby you.
I also can't manufacture caring. If it didn't matter to you before right now, why should it matter to me
Yeah.
before right now?
My purse is in my office,
Yeah.
locked up. You know what I mean? I don't.
I don't know. Yeah.
Lost and found sounds like a loss prevention issue to me.
Right.
I think you
Security.
spent too much time on it.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest, absolutely not. Security. How can you assist? Okay, moving
Yeah.
on.
But you know our security team. They were not going to be able to handle that. And you know that.
I'm gonna have to just take a sip of my drink.
You know that. You handled. I mean, you've dealt with them before. Like they're just not as competent as I would like them to be. Not all of them. Some of them are great. Some of them are just not all there. I feel like a majority of the time that I'm handling the situation, like I'm just here to stand there if you need me. Like,
Yeah, it's to make sure that you don't get hit, basically.
Right, but this wasn't one of those scenarios where they needed to be competent. They just need to be able to look at a camera, and that's not even in the scope of your role. Like,
no, I know.
you're volunteering to do more work than you needed to do.
Yeah.
So,
It's true.
ding ding.
All right.
I taught you better than
You
that.
you had me. I was like,
Is there
I was
another
right there
bell?
with
Do we all have bells?
Right, you had one job, and you took on the job of security. No, ma'am. Not for the entitled, especially. I could see if it was like an actual legitimate problem. This was her leaving her purse unattended. You already went above and beyond and gave them a space, didn't charge them, and then sat there and let them talk to you any kind of way. This is your solution. Take it or leave it. Enjoy your Mother's Day.
Wait, this was on Mother's Day?
No, no, no. This
Oh,
was the
sorry.
weekend. This was,
Oh,
no, no,
Mother's
this
Day,
was the
my
weekends
bad.
before Mother's. This
like,
wasn't yesterday.
Insult
I mean,
to injury. I was like, wow.
My bad.
I mean, you kind of
Yesterday
made
was
that
a
sound like
different-
it fit everything. Happy Mother's Day. Happy
Yeah.
4th of July.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Happy
you know,
Kwanzaa. Yeah.
Yeah.
all of them.
Happy Veterans Day. So, are you still in the service industry, or like, what are you doing now?
I am in a season of pause.
Wow.
Yeah, get the belt. Get the belt.
I think I'm just gonna go ahead and co-op that a little bit.
It's a good one.
Just that was wow. All right. How would you define that for everyone else who's about to steal it from you? Because
Gotta
you
be
heard it here
trademarked.
first.
Here.
Please.
It is a moment where you come back to yourself, right? You get recentered with what means the most for you, to you, like in your heart, mind, and soul, not like the labels or the achievements that others have like placed on you. It's about reconnecting to like what I value personally and what I want to do in this next chapter.
One more. One more.
Sorry. I'm on the bell now. I'm on the fucking bell. I never thought we would be that podcast, but I'm fine with that. I'm cool with that. That didn't sound like some self-help bullshit. I hate that. I hate that when people put that up there, you know. That just sounds very, I don't even want to try to define it. You already did. Thank you. I appreciate that.
My pleasure.
Because that, I feel a lot of times, to bring it back within the service industry, it feels that we only take that moment when we're transitioning between one location or another, one
Yes.
job or another. So it's nice to hear that have such a really clean, uplifting term. Like that's really cool. Because that's one of the things I always preach when it comes to when it's your time, it's your time.
Absolutely.
When you don't want to work somewhere anymore, or if a place moves on from you, whatever the case may be, it's just time to move on. Refocus on yourself, figure out what job works for you, because I feel that that's also one of the flexibilities that this industry offers that a lot of other industries do not, because there's so many different roles that we could play, especially if you work your way up. You can say, hey, I don't want to take that level of responsibility or do that particular role. Let me go back and let me dust off the resume and go back to this position for a little while at this particular location. And maybe you don't even tell the people that that's what you know. Yeah, like they may not even know you've ever managed a day in your life. Yeah, I've seen
Right,
that
because then
happen
you'll be
quite a
taking
bit.
on 3-4 jobs.
Exactly.
Especially at the climate that we're in right now. In this job industry, in LA in general, you know, post-pandemic, we have dealt with a lot of staffing issues. I can see it's like rampant, and not just in the food service industry. It's you know, kind of like a global job market issue at this point. And it's all about me right now. What did
As
Maya
it should
say? I'm not gonna sing it, but she said it's all about me. Forget about you. Okay, so
It's intentional.
so what you gonna do? Yeah,
It's intentional.
are
at
you gonna
that
get
point.
it up? Oh, anyway.
Okay. It's turned into a music podcast. We're switching gears. Surprise.
Whatever gets
But no,
us
yes,
views.
it's intentional. I'm being very intentional in this space that I'm in, and I have been, I would say, for the last year and a half. And so I am not moved by timelines and guidelines that do not come from here.
So everyone here has been in the food and beverage industry for at least more than a few years. I would assume.
More than a decade, right?
Kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Several
Yeah.
decades over here.
Decade for
I
me.
could, oh my god. Yeah, I guess I could. Not even a decade, but yeah.
Yeah. So what I'd actually like to go around the room, and so to say for those who have worked in different positions, or if not a different position, then a different location. What would be one of your fondest memories over those years that you've had? Like, does anyone want to start, or do you want to
Yeah.
start? Okay.
Actually, my favorite memory is actually with these girls. Honestly,
Oh my god.
yeah. I mean, people come and go in your life and whatnot. The fact that we stay friends and connected even after we left. The place that we used to work at. Places because we actually worked together twice. And, we just share those specific memories, the good, the bad, like the crazy. And that's always my favorite thing about like, whenever I call you guys like, oh my God, let me just vent and whatnot. It's like, you guys understand. And that's rare to come upon. And especially like we had a trust in each other all throughout. Whether it's like, hey, you got my back on this, right? And then I have your back. Like I said, the last time, whenever someone came to the front desk to complain about me, Des always had my back, which was amazing. And then when I needed someone on the floor, Tennie always had my back too. So it's just one of the things. And I learned so much from the two of you as well. I mean, she's always been like my mentor, teaching me to be, the best version of myself as a manager, but with my own style and everything. So she critiques me all the time, which I love. And she's usually
Out of love.
She's
Out of love.
always right. I hate it, but that's my.
I'm a Capricorn and we are always right. Okay, thank you.
She's always right, even when she reads me with her eyes. I hate it.
I don't miss a beat. Very detail oriented.
But that's mine, at least. The friendships, the up and down of where we all worked at together. That's my fondest moment.
Lovely. See? Me?
Yeah, you first.
Did I tell the Valentine's Day story?
Wait, was I
don't
there?
remember that.
No.
Oh, okay.
This was at a restaurant in a different city, like a really like nice steakhouse. And on Valentine's Day, I was working as a hostess, and it was like it's a huge restaurant. We had 8 hostesses alone, like on Valentine's Day. It's like it's that big of a restaurant.
Damn.
Yeah, it's huge. It's crazy. So there was a reservation in the book for one person on Valentine's Day, which is like, yikes! Like, who's walking in that door? And so a gentleman, probably in his 40s, 50s, came in, really lovely. I walked him to his seat, and we had chatted on our way to the table. And by the time we got to the table, he was like, "Thank you so much for being so kind and being really warm and welcoming. This is actually a really hard day for me." And he like grabbed my hand and he was like, "My wife passed recently and this is my first Valentine's Day without her, and I'm just really struggling today." And he like starts crying. And so I am a very emotional person. So now I'm crying with this random man in the middle of the dining room. And I mean, he's like holding on like real tight, like won't let go. And so, I mean, again, it's kind of earlier on in the dinner service. I know that I've got plenty of like other people to see. And so he's like, "I'm so sorry for like taking your time." And I said, "What time?" And I sat down with him at the table, like, and I sat with him and we just like cried for like way too long. Like by the time I went back to the front desk, like everybody was like, "Where have you been?" Like, like basically like the building's like burning down. They're like, "We saw you like talking to that random man for 20 minutes crying at the table."
They
And I
thought
was
you
like,
had a sugar
Are
daddy
you a
moment.
sugar baby?
yeah, right. I was like, thank you, Belle. But I was like, sometimes it's not about the fast-paced business. Like everyone's gonna get their steak and their lobster mac and cheese and all of those things, and they have someone to dine with. This gentleman is our only one top of the night, and so if that means I get written up for taking 20 minutes to seat a table, then I'm absolutely fine with that. If that means that I made this very difficult time for this guy a little bit easier. And so I do remember that, and I'm like, that was a, I don't know, it was a nice moment, even though it was kind of a hard moment. It was a nice moment. So yeah.
Nice.
So I'm going to go in a different direction. And while, yes, the LA service industry brought me these two lovely ladies here, I'm going to talk about something else.
Are you talking about?
Prior to that, when I lived in Hot Atlanta, so the tea is hot because, yes, this was when it was still Hot Atlanta. I won't use names, I'll give ideas, but so I worked at a famous person's restaurant as a server. And one of my, I don't think I'll use the word fondest, but one of the memories that's emblazoned in my mind, there was a,
I'm scared.
could be, there was a group
Okay.
of individuals, you know, that have like a family bond, right? You know, like they create a family in the streets, a group, you know.
Okay.
That wasn't from Atlanta, but they had outposts in Atlanta. They were actually from here, but they had outposts in Atlanta. And they used to come in, all of them, the whole family,
Stop.
to shoot music videos and things. And I just remember, so I'm from a very small town, and I remember them coming in one time while we're open to the public. They were coming to the private dining room, and I was one of the servers, and they came carrying lots of things. And I remember trying to reach over and serve people and not touch
The things.
the thing. And what is very funny, this family has a show now. And I won't say what network it's on because then it'll be very obvious.
Yeah.
But so those memories of them coming in and passing management manila envelopes of money after our services had been rendered for their enjoyment.
The way you're putting the
Yeah. There's so many different ways.
And then, so not fond because I'm expecting to get this nice payout from this manila envelope that I've
Yeah,
seen you
you saw an
receive.
envelope, so-
And also saw that same manager pull up with a brand new BMW. So
Of
I'm like,
course.
oh, my payout is going to be, was not.
It's a little.
Was not. I should also just mention that when they walked in, and again, this giving very California vibes, you know, with the bandanas wrapped around all of the, again, this family, you know, so they were in costume,
Yeah.
in uniform, not costume,
There
excuse
you
me. They
go,
were in
uniform.
uniform,
Of course.
full blown uniform for their event,
Yes.
their celebration.
Got it.
You know, they were trying to free somebody and,
Understood.
yes, there we go.
Okay. Took me a minute. I was like, who? Understood.
I'll tell y'all off camera.
Yeah, please. There were times where I was with you, and there were times where I wasn't. And then I saw she was with you, and I was like, all right, she'll let me know later.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, Jamie's,
I'm
she's
fucking
catching.
lost. I'm lost. I'm just
I don't want to.
Jamie has no clue what's going on.
Wait, can this be edited out, what I say now, or no?
Let's just save it for later.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. I'm curious. I like my stories unedited.
Okay.
I'll be honest. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but I had like flashbacks to my own stuff. I was just like, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember what that felt like. And then you would go in a different direction. I was like, I don't know.
Oh my God, I've never been there.
I ain't never
Atlanta
done
is
that.
not a real place, but I love it.
Atlanta's one of those places that I do wonder what it would have been like had I grown up and also grown up within the service industry there, because it is such a different.
Universe. You really
Yeah,
just
it
have to
really
be
is.
there. Like you will not understand or believe the anecdotes because it doesn't sound like it could be true. This was before reality TV was really a thing, and it absolutely should have been a thing. You all might have known me before now because that place should have had a reality show.
I've heard of places like that
I
too.
would have watched
even
it.
even on the West Coast, I've heard of places like that
I
as
would
well.
have watched it. Yeah.
You know,
It's good.
it was always one of these shows,
Mhm.
but we can never get funding,
Yeah.
and if we do, they stop the show so that we can't get residuals.
Exactly.
Yeah, Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
I thought we weren't using names.
I can say Warner Brothers.
Okay.
Ain't got nothing to do with the service industry.
Throw them out
Except for
there.
all the people that they rob of their money, then have to go back to the service industry to try to make their money and make ends meet until they get their next project. Warner Brothers.
Warner
Discovery.
Brothers.
Discover how to take care of a brother. Like
That
maybe
part.
that? I don't know.
Well, you need to ring the bell on that.
Sorry.
There you go.
Message.
Got it.
I'd say for me, my fondest memory used to be more anecdotal, but as time has passed since then, but also just being in the service industry as well and working in different locations, the time that sticks with me the most was just before I left Phoenix and left my last job in Phoenix to move to Seattle. Because by that time I had been working at one place for a couple years. But the friends I made there, the different regulars that I knew, like all the stories that I had there, before moving, I was hopeful for where I was going. And I knew, because working in this industry, you can always land on your feet somewhere. So I knew I was going to be good, but I also wondered, like, how would those friendships change and who would stay at that location for a while longer? Because as Jamie said earlier, you've worked in multiple locations together, but a lot of times that doesn't happen. Sometimes you work with one person in one place and then you never see him again. And I just remember when I was leaving there, just how the energy felt at that time. And just also remembering how it felt the year before that. Not to compare the two crews as far as like which crew was better, but just remembering how certain bonds were formed the year before compared to that year, and feeling, man, this would be harder to move a year ago than it is now, but it's still hard now, but you also have time to plan for that. You don't get to plan for someone just getting fired. I remember, hearing a little bit of a story. Let's not tell that story, but just hearing a little bit of a story when I went downstairs in the elevator to come get y'all, just hearing about people who just get fired like out of nowhere.
That's crazy.
It's
Especially
just a
with
weird
tenure,
thing.
it does something to you, especially if they're a good personality. If I know that you've actually caused more issues, you calling out all the time, I have to cover your shift constantly with someone or not and just deal with the shortage, then I'm a very empathetic person, but if your pattern is showing me that you're not trustworthy, and Jamie can attest to this, that I'm the type of manager that I'm going to try to seek to understand like what's going on. If there's an underlying issue, and if you're not giving me feedback on that, or you're not trying to change from that level set conversation to improve, and you're still causing issues, then I'm not going to have your back, because it's like, you're not looking out for me either.
You're not looking out for yourself. I'm trying to look out for you.
You said it earlier, like, why should I care more about your job than you do?
Exactly. If you keep your job, you're not gonna then pay me back and help me pay my
At
bills
all.
for
You're
it.
not sharing them
So,
tips.
No,
what's the stress for?
no, they're not.
It does nothing.
Yeah.
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 I do empathize with those who get caught up in situations that they don't want to be in.
Yeah.
But again, those people that you go to work every day thinking, is this the shift that they're going to get fired on? I have no empathy for that.
Right. Yes.
You know?
Literally. Or wondering like, when is the shift that they're going to get fired on? We've all been in that,
Yeah.
where we've had someone on our team that you're like
Yeah.
actively
just
trying to
had it a
manage
couple
out.
weeks ago.
Yeah.
I had it happen. I saw it in real time. I was like,
Oh.
they're getting
I did
fired.
notice that someone was not there that I thought would be there last weekend.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The tea.
I mean, I
heard.
felt, but
But
I
yeah.
didn't feel as strongly as I would have before.
Yeah.
I felt just not a lot. Just not a lot. You
And I
knew
know
this
this.
was
I
coming.
know the story too, so
Yeah,
that's
you
why
knew
I'm
this was
laughing.
So
coming.
again, we're gonna have a conversation.
Yes, we will. Yeah,
So I'm like,
yeah. Because I totally forgot about it until you just brought that up. I'm like, oh wait, I heard about this tea over the
I
weekend.
need to know.
I was at work the other day, and me and one of my coworkers were talking about it because I only get to work with them once a week. So in those days, they're asking me for updates. Yo,
So
what
much happened.
Yes.
on the shifts that I haven't been here? And I was like, so a lot has happened in the last week. So let me da 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 da, and I'm like trying to fill them in on this, and I look over and there's a guest sitting there, and they're just
Right. Yeah.
Locked
Listen.
in. They're like,
That was probably the most fun aspect of us like all working on the same property or like nearby. Like, you know, like yes, I need to talk to like my own colleagues, but let me talk to my girls and let's get caught up on what's
I will
really
walk across the
happening.
street just to find the two of you.
Yes.
I'm like, God,
That was
where
the
are
best. Literally, we would text each other and she's like, "Are you here yet?" Or vice versa. So then I always knew what that meant. Like, oh, she's coming over. We got some tea to talk.
I'm like, I'm in my office. Like,
Exactly.
come and find me.
Those,
Yes.
those are also the fondest moments.
I miss
Yes.
Yeah.
I do miss those.
Yeah.
Where I work now is a very small crew. So
Yeah.
we don't really have that. But the place before this one, or one of the places before this one, I just remember when we would go on break, because that particular place would make everyone go on break at the same time. But that would be when everyone got together and just kind of compared their stories and talked about
I
everything.
love
I
gossip.
Yes.
I'm like thrilled just
Yeah.
talking about gossip. Like I don't even know the gossip, but just like the idea of gossip, I'm like,
Like those rare times when you would close with me and you would still be in the office and
Yes.
we're just in the office kikiing.
oh, it's work. What work? I mean,
I'm like, I still have like another 2 hours before it's time to like check my staff out. Let's catch up.
yeah, let's talk.
What's going on?
Bill.
So that guest that I walked by the front desk that was giving you trouble, I didn't want to jump in and then them say, "Oh my
wow.
God, these two tall black girls." Okay, hold on. That's the
Here we
fondest
go.
memory.
That's our next
Sorry,
one.
here's
Yeah.
here's the fondest memory because everyone can see us. The number of times that people confused us with and literally like argue you down, like, "Oh my God," mind you, I'm food and beverage. She was guest relations, front desk.
Different department.
Thank you so much for helping me with the check-in. I just walked in. Huh? What are you talking about?
And no,
We've never been in the same room.
Right. I was
before.
like, I've never met you. And so this was actually funny. And because then, and she was like, no, you help. And I was like, ma'am, I just walked in, you know, I'm about to close, you know, it's like, I'm taking the evening shift. And then she looked and like aghast. Oh my God. And then was like,
Not
oh my God,
clutching
I
pearls.
clutched your pearls. I promise I'm not racist. I'm a doctor. And I said,
ma'am, you're a racist. Doctor.
Racist,
doctor.
okay, well, I'm going to go to I have to work.
Yes.
Good luck. You know, I'll pass it along to Dez.
Frequent. Like, and it's like, how?
So frequent.
How?
so frequent.
You guys, come on.
We're tall. Yes.
We're both tall.
Aside from that, and we both have beautiful smiles. I'm just going to big up us real quick.
Yeah.
There is nothing else that remotely looks the same. Like, we don't look the same at all. Like, you saw us standing next to each other. Like, did you really? You was like, a black person. It's got to be her.
That's what I do when I see a minority. It all kind of blends together. And what?
Oh, I'm going to take my drinks off. Let's say something. Say something bad.
What are we doing, you guys? That's so embarrassing.
I don't see.
Oh my God.
That's
I'm like, but I need you to see it, actually.
Yes, please. Because
to see it. Don't
working
just be
it,
getting me mixed
I'm
up with
gonna be real
any
with you.
random person
I'm
walking
gonna be
down the
real with
street.
you. This shit happened to me last weekend. Not just me though. It happened to one of my coworkers where, no bullshit, we looked at someone's card and therefore we knew who they were based off of name and the drinks that were on it. We're like, me and the other coworker was like, "Hey, what did they say?" And then I was like, "Oh, I didn't hear them," but we were looking at the cards and we were like, "Tequila lemon drop." Yeah, that's you. We knew exactly who that person was. I need you to see color. It'll help you get the transaction done faster.
Right.
I don't need you to be prejudiced. I don't need you to be racist. I don't need you to be bigoted. I don't need any of those negative connotations. But if you looking at my card helps you know what my name is, which for me, it doesn't work because
Same.
my name is Mexican as fuck.
Same,
Although
no
I
clue.
am not.
Zero clue.
But if it will help us get through the transaction, I'm fine with that. See color, please see
Yes.
color.
Yeah, that's a
You know,
very
maybe that'll help you not say
Like, because
some
am I
ignorant
invisible? Because
shit.
there's no way you can't tell me that you don't see my tall self walking around
right.
in the restaurant.
You
And then,
see,
like,
and
you see me.
that's fine. Like,
Yeah.
because that's how I'm seen, and that's how I see myself, and that's how I see you.
Right.
What an entitled way to go about life, to go, I don't see color. Like, what fucking planet are you from where you
Exactly.
don't, where you have the privilege, such privilege,
Yes.
to not see color? That's
Yeah.
a wild mindset.
I also like when the discomfort comes when there's coffee involved, and then I'm like, "How will you like your coffee?"
Blickety black.
Right? They don't want to say black. They're like, you know,
I like it black,
void
y'all.
of
I like it
sugar,
black, y'all.
void
I
of
like it
sugar
blacker
and
than black. I like it
cream.
black,
What is
y'all.
it called? Then I'm like black, because my other thing is
How do you like your
my
coffee?
other thing is
Oppressed.
like, oh, right. Are you making an assumption that I'm black? How do you know?
Yeah, right.
What if I wasn't?
Yeah, I don't identify as
Right,
black.
right. Or what if I wasn't strong in my identity and I didn't feel black?
Right.
Or
What if I
something,
was
you know?
bullied as a child?
Yeah.
What if I've been told I wasn't black this entire time?
Or I wasn't black enough.
I definitely have heard that before. And when you look
Is
at
that
my
how
name,
you want
you're
your
like,
coffee?
She's not black.
Surely isn't. Yeah.
How do you want your coffee? Not black enough.
Right. Like,
Yeah. Not black.
literally can't say it. And I'm like,
Literally
do
anything
you,
but
do you
black.
mean black? And this has happened every place that I've worked at except for in Hotlanta. But everywhere else, literally people cannot say
Scared.
black
Des,
coffee.
move up a little bit, and then Jamie, move up just a little bit more, or move your
Better.
microphone to you. Sorry, we're getting notes from the back,
Sorry,
which
guys.
helps us out.
My bad.
We were just really getting into
I'm
it.
proud of
My bad.
myself.
My
I
bad.
didn't have
I
any
didn't mean-
feedback.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
Well, you did say as soon before we even started, you're like, I'm just gonna gangster lean on y'all the whole time.
From the cuff.
Yeah. Just that's all you're gonna get.
what you're gonna
TWA,
get from me.
just
That's what you're
Tennie
gonna-
with an attitude.
Did you see the shirt?
I know, that's why I said
I actually
TWA.
didn't see it. What does it say? Trey. Oh, I do enjoy that. That's very nice. Yes. Lovely. Yes. Mhm. Can't help it. I wish I could. I
Cheerio.
can't. Yeah. Can't help it. It's me.
I don't see color.
Yeah. That's me. I'm her. I'm that girl.
Oh man. Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, God, I wanted the segue a little bit better. So I'm gonna save that one.
Just
What?
do
Up?
it.
Nah. I'm gonna
nah.
sneak up with that one. Like we're gonna come back to that.
Okay.
I do remember, we did talk off camera that there were some topics of some things that you had wanted to bring up. What is one of the main ones that stuck into your head the most?
Actually, I feel like so they're doing this. I don't know if you guys heard about this new law that passed, and it's called it's for junk fees.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What?
That was
sorry,
the one I
who?
was hoping.
Junk fees.
Junk fee.
Yeah, it's called. Well, it's
JUNK?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Get her. Yeah. 'Cause she's.
So basically, I feel like it's not just food and beverage. It affects everything,
Mm-hmm.
but it has the most impact in food and beverage. And we literally just had a meeting about this with the staff that it would affect and to find ways to reconcile like how we do things. So junk fees are basically any hidden fees. Whether it's credit card transaction, whether you go buy tickets on StubHub and whatever it is,
Processing fee.
processing fees and stuff like that. But in food and beverage, if guests don't sign like a contract saying that they are aware of these junk fees, you're not allowed to charge. Yeah.
Good luck charging those at where you work, because I already know how that's going to go.
So well,
You
here's
can
the
barely
thing,
get guests to sign their
right.
to sign their check.
The biggest impact are like large parties and like room service. So when room service, you have like the admin fee, you have the auto
Yeah.
gratuity on all of that stuff.
Delivery fee, like everything.
Yeah,
Yes.
and so we literally just had a discussion on how do we reconcile that? How do we fix that? So do we penalize the staff and like just basically remove all those fees, or do we increase the prices? How are you going to increase the prices? 26%.
They're already so hot.
They're already so high.
Yeah.
And it's just this back and forth about like, well, how do we do this? So there are certain ways to go around it the right way and whatnot. So like even if you go to some restaurant now and when you see it on when they present you the check and it says an automatic 16% added or 6% added for security. Or
Okay, I
for,
was gonna say because that's how I've seen it labeled.
Right,
somewhere here in downtown, and I said
no. So
security.
Yeah, we talked
Security
about that a
fee.
couple weeks
yeah.
ago.
So
Yeah.
Interesting.
it's not just
I
for
didn't
security
see
or
security
for
when I walked
staff
in.
health benefits stuff like that. But
Oh, I've seen that one
the
before.
problem is that's not
Well,
a
that one's
con-
been in
that's not a
place since like
contract.
COVID.
It's not a contract. So if you say I want this removed, they can remove it.
They have to.
They have to
Yeah.
because this isn't
That
included.
is a tip for anyone that's listening. Like
Yeah.
you can dispute.
Like,
Not
no, I
dispute,
don't
but
want
you
to opt
can-
into that
yeah.
or whatever.
Yes, but like how like it affects us in like good and bad ways because like like these hidden fees where we buy tickets to go watch shows, concerts, etc. Like that stuff. That also includes junk fees. But when you're in food and beverage, there's a service that you provide for large groups, and if it's not previously contracted before the event, then we can dispute it.
So is this going to be on regular guest checks as well, or just like BEOs?
So on BEOs, it's contracted.
Okay.
So that's fine.
'Cause
We tell you that there's a fee and it's paid for,
going
and
into
that's fine.
Okay.
You sign that contract prior to the event. Now, if we have large parties and we send out like credit card authorization or our form of a contract, then that's fine. But it's like the room service or the like if you just have it on the menu and it says that because it's not actually they didn't
That's not a
actually-
contract.
It's not a contract.
Yeah.
So there's a very gray area. So while yes, it benefits us in some ways, it really hits the food and beverage industry, it, like hospitality and all of that stuff. So it's, I don't know, it kind of sucks. So how do you fix that? Do you increase their prices so if you increase the prices and you embed it in whatever someone is paying for and you subtract it later, like that's fine. Meaning like, let's say you pay $10 for an omelet, you now charge $16 and that $6 is now part of that.
That's a lot of work on finance department.
Yeah, it is.
on the
but,
back
but
end.
what are you supposed to do at this
Right.
point? So there's a lot of discussion back and forth.
That sounds really sketchy though.
Yeah.
So this
I'm
is
not
a
paying
new
for an
law
omelet
that's
at that
coming in,
point.
or-
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've already removed some of it on like full service and whatnot, but like it really affects food and beverage. Like, how do you go about it, making sure that it's contracted and that the guests are aware? If the guests are not aware that they're paying for it, they can surely dispute it. But I know,
As they should.
right.
You shouldn't be paying for anything that you didn't ask for.
So,
and
right.
but here's
it's
the
not
thing, though.
benefiting
When
you.
you're in room service, it's kind of like an all-around thing. It's expected. You order room service, you know
Right.
there's an admin fee, you know there's gratuity or that's included. Whether you want to give more, that's different.
Right, you know there's
so
delivery fee as
there's kind of
well.
like an exception to the rule, but they're trying to like
I feel like that's where it feels sketchy to me, at least. I don't want to speak for anyone else, but it almost feels like political the way you ask for this thing, but they don't just give you this thing. They package it with this. Because to me, instead of saying it should be some kind of hidden fee that's wrapped up over here and all this other stuff, you could just say a room service fee. When I order from DoorDash, they don't say, well, this is a red light fee.
Right.
Like it's a DoorDash fee. It's a Dasher fee. And if you
Right.
want to tip on top of that, then you tip on top of that. But to say, oh, it's just a food and beverage or whatever kind of fee that they want to name it, but they're only taking a portion of that to go to food and beverage. So therefore now that's being taken away because it's being able to be disputed. It's being disputed because it's not a room service
Right.
fee.
Because you
If it's just a room service
lied.
fee, let me pay the room service fee.
right.
You know?
Jay, so is this a California thing or?
Yeah. No, well, I don't know if it's just a California thing. I
gonna do
I
some
really don't know.
research.
I just know that they came and they were talking to me about it. What's the
it's
best?
called a junk fee.
It's called a junk fee.
I'm gonna check it out. I
That's
feel like it
really
probably starts
interesting
in
that they even
California
call it
first.
that in the first
Yeah.
place. It's like
Not even truck.
Because
Yeah.
it's your junk drawer.
Yeah,
but
hidden-
financially.
it basically,
Financial
basically
junk.
hidden
This
fees.
fee could have been an email.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just goes to the truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then let me go ahead and get an app that takes all that off. It makes no sense to me that every time you get charged for something else, you then have to pay another fee or jump through a hoop
Yeah, you're
to
paying,
not
like,
be
an extra-
charged that thing anymore. How about you
I don't
just
wanna
not charge me some
dispute
bullshit?
stuff and go through that.
Right. My other issue with this sort of thing, because this is what I hear, like I read a lot of articles about what's going on in the industry still, and the guests take it out on the staff.
Oh, yeah.
They see those fees, they're like, well, I'm not going to tip then. The server had absolutely nothing to do with that. They have no control in this, no autonomy.
That's
like
the
none of
one
that.
person that
Yes.
has nothing to do with it. Yeah.
Literally nothing to do with it. The one person that's there to help you, they don't even have anything to do with the kitchen. And that's the part I don't like, is seeing the server, you know, or the runner or the barback or something being penalized for something that's outside of their control. And they are here to work for tips. Yes, maybe they get it hourly, but you don't even know what
Yeah.
their hourly is. Like
Yeah.
you count in their pockets, which
Yeah.
is also a no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, depending on where you work, that hourly could be way lower.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
absolutely.
I've worked in. I can't speak for anyone else here, but I've worked in multiple cities in multiple states, and the pay
Did
is
you have that
vastly
213?
different.
That 213 an hour?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it was about 213 an hour.
I
I
remember
don't even remember.
distinctly
It was two
because-
something because I remember because I was in Arizona at the time, and I remember when it got passed that we would go from whatever to 275 an hour, and that
Yes.
was something
Yeah,
that was
no, something to
heavily
celebrate,
combated.
applaud, yeah.
They were like, "Oh, we shouldn't give them that."
Yeah.
It was like 30 or 40
Are you
cents.
kidding?
What are you talking
No.
about?
The reason why that's also emblazoned, so this is going back to the story I told you when I was working in Atlanta, 213 an hour as a server. So your check is maybe $30. Do you know that those checks from that celebrity-owned restaurant bounced regularly, to the point that when you pulled up to the bank and they saw where the check came from, they
knew.
told you, go around, like, step off. We're not dealing with that, because they so frequently bounced. And
That is
embarrassing.
Yeah.
Very.
I didn't want to say it, but yeah, that's really
That is
embarrassing.
very
I was
embarrassing.
like,
Wildly
wait, it's not even me.
embarrassing.
And I'm like, I'm embarrassed now because I
Right.
got turned away because my check is bouncing. My
The-
$30
but
check.
it's like that's what I've worked. Like I worked hard
Like, for this
how-
$30.
right? Like, and I need it. That's the worst part, is that I need it. Like, oh my god.
You
It's a
see the
mess.
check, you're like,
Yeah.
no, not you.
Have you,
Pack
have
it
you
up
ever owed on your check?
What?
and-
That's a thing.
It's never happened to me. I've
seen it,
gotten
but I don't
a
think it's happened to me.
non-check before.
So I was like,
but
y'all
I
could
have
have saved that.
seen
Y'all could
other
have saved the
people.
trees. Y'all didn't need to
Yeah.
print that out and tell me.
You could
I've seen a
Send
non-check.
that in an email. That's an email. I don't
That
want
is
you
an
to
email.
print that paper
simply
out. to send me
said,
that.
"Fuck you." I didn't need it in
Yeah.
writing. Like,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was too much.
Yeah, no, I've seen those checks where someone owed on their check.
Did they break a dish or something? Why are they owing? Like,
It was probably an issue on
happened?
accounting's behalf where the math was not mathing. The math wasn't mathing, which is not my fault.
right?
Like you've overpaid. Ooh.
Sorry,
So now you want to take it back?
sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
Hey, that tip fell off a truck. That's how I look at it. The same way that people want to find a hookup on OfferUp or Craigslist or their cousin or their mom and them or somebody else.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take that same hookup. If you don't put your math down, if your math ain't mathing for you, but it's mathing for me, then guess what? It mathed for me that time.
So back
I'm
to what I
sorry.
said to Jay, I'm not going to do your job and calculate on the check. I get the check. Now, if it looks much lower, then I know, okay,
We'll have
something's wrong and there's
We'll
some
have a
hours
little
missing.
conversation.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
you gave me more. Oh, it was a bonus. I like that. That's not my job to then go calculate something.
And how many times have we actually seen it happen where someone actually did intend to give you a better tip, but they can't math good?
Oh my God.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time. No one can add when it comes. Is the
Motherfuckers
pressure?
pull they
The
flashlight.
pressure of
Flashing it
signing
on
a
the
check.
card. I'm like,
And they've got
"Can
all
you
their
help
friends.
me?"
They've got all their friends,
Help
and they're
you.
trying to do it together collectively. And then you look, and you're like, and especially
Still
the ones that have
fucked up.
bragged to you about how big they're going to tip you.
Don't tell me.
Then you get there. You're trying to reconcile at the end of the night. You know, I've had bartenders come up to me that I'm ready to go home at this point, and they're like, "Can you tell me what you think this says?" And I'm like, "We have to like guess. You know, go high or low or in the middle. What do we do so it doesn't get disputed?"
Right.
That's the story we should have told, but never mind.
You can tell that story. Tell a story.
Tell the story.
Yeah.
There's a privilege story that we shared of someone who frequented our locations, both of them,
Oh,
on
that
a
guy.
mad dating spree. So both locations were used for his weekly dating. So multiple women, which I don't even care about
This
that part.
guy. Okay.
But this man had a can I say it? Platinum Amex that he was
I
constantly
mean, you
using.
could say that.
We're not sponsored by them. Not
right.
yet. Amex.
I mean, holla at me,
Not-
yo.
not
Let's
yet.
figure it
And
out.
we're
waiting.
talking about over a time period of more than a year.
I love
This
one.
man amassed. He spent more than $30,000 at both locations,
Mhm.
and the reason I know this amount is because he disputed that
All
amount
of
with American Express, who
35
was like,
transactions.
absolutely, wow. Imagine the privilege that you can just say, I was not there repeatedly all these times,
Right.
so you dispute. So then it came up the ranks, and for whatever reason, the
It
two
was
of
me
us
and her. Of course.
had to be the ones to present to this man of privilege that he was no longer allowed in either property. Now, as Jamie mentioned earlier, this is where security did not have our back. So you've got
Never.
the two of us,
Surprise, surprise.
minorities, coming up to this person
Women.
of privilege, right? Who we stepped off to the side to speak to him calmly and rationally. So now we both have a witness. No raised voices were used. As a matter of fact, we used our most demure
Gentle.
and gentle Southern
gentle
voices
parenting.
that yes, gentle parenting. This grown baby man. Mind you, he was there for a date, so we were
Grown
trying to
baby
get it out of the way before the date showed up because he would always arrive early, then the dates will come a little bit later. So we were trying to do this so he doesn't feel embarrassed, and the staff knew not to serve him, so he's sitting there trying to flag them down to do his standard.
The staff
His,
was
his
watching.
SOP, his standard operation procedure was to sit down, flag the person down before the girl comes, try to get some water to the table or whatever. Just using up our tables for these dates. As we tell him, he responds to Jamie that she's being mean to him.
I'm always mean.
You're
I'm always
you're so
And
mean, Jamie.
that he had disputed. Remember, it's over $30,000. He had disputed because he did not receive the level of service that he thought he should. So I was like, every time, really,
35
Why-
times.
Why did
We
35
didn't
times.
receive
No,
the
not
level
35
of
times,
money we thought we
$30,000
were
times.
supposed to
but-
get.
I had the stack of disputes.
No, I do
It was
remember.
like 30 something.
I remember, and they were highlighted.
They were
highlighted.
I had the stack of disputes.
Not the highlighter.
Yes.
When I came with it, I was like, all of these?
And
Yeah.
so I asked him, I'm like, so, again, as the manager and I see you every time, you never once said anything to me that you were displeased with the level of service that you received. But you told Amex that, so that then you wouldn't have to pay.
Yeah.
So that's
he was
fraud.
like, oh,
I mean, like,
one
you know
time
what
I
I
got
mean?
sick. And He's
Yeah.
like, oh, well, one time I got sick and I tried calling and no one ever answered me. I was like, so one time amounts to 30 plus transaction of dispute. It's like, well, your staff was, I was like, 35 times?
Mhm.
Like, none of this makes sense. And it's like, well, so you're kicking me out? I'm like, yes.
Yes.
It seems like our service isn't up to your standards, so we're no longer providing you service.
Right.
I have so many friends. I was like, I don't want your
Yes,
friends.
I'm going to tell my friends
I
not to
don't-
come here.
Not
I
your friends.
don't want your friends
Not
here.
the friends.
Because if they're anything like you, oh my God.
For the friends.
No, not your friends. I'm gonna tell my friends.
I'm
Right.
gonna
Okay.
tell my
You
friends.
should have told your friend.
Right.
You should have told your friends to come here and help you pay your tax.
Yeah, right.
But my thing, I was just mesmerized by the privilege that I could
love it.
call.
I love it.
This is when you don't see color. See, this is how you know you see color because
Right.
there's no way. Maybe I should use it with my name. I should
Right.
try and just see.
I think I'm gonna do that from now on.
And just see. I think even with your name,
Yeah.
there's not a clear indication.
vague
Even
enough?
you.
That's
It's vague
right.
enough
Yeah.
that
My name?
we could like
Jamie?
Yeah.
Bang.
No one would know. Oh, is that a
How would they
the
know?
the bang does
right?
give it away.
No one's gonna know.
How would they
Bang does
know?
give it away.
Okay.
Yeah, it's giving. It's
I would just like to note that the entire time, not the entire, but the last 2 minutes, all I could think of is that from now on, I will start referring to these people as pop stars because of you. And because of P. P always says that a lot of these people have main character energy.
Truly.
They think they're the star of the show, the game, whatever.
all of it.
They got that main character energy. And then you kept saying person of privilege.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
Person of privilege. Pop.
every time I'm like, oh,
Pop.
aha. It was one of those.
Pop
And I was
star.
just like, oh, they're just
Right,
pop
yes.
stars.
I'm gonna start calling people pop stars.
They're pop stars
Absolutely.
Hey,
or
pop
pop
star.
tarts.
Especially like
A little
when they're
Pop-Tart?
giving you that
like a
energy,
full
and then
man.
you're just like got it, got it.
Yeah,
I love
I'll
this.
get right on that.
I'm so here for this.
I'm sorry.
love
I
it.
didn't know it was you.
Right.
That's on me.
Yeah,
I'm
of
sorry.
course.
You know,
Do better.
let me get right on
I'm
that.
gonna go
Better.
into the back and just like,
I'm gonna go to the kitchen. Look, you
Right.
can say I'm gonna go to the kitchen and consult with
Right.
my
Yeah.
manager, and
And
then as
so-
I'm waiting on that, and you're like, "There's not even a kitchen."
that is my favorite thing to do is when someone's really upset is to then become more upset than they are at the situation.
Oh, I should.
They
try
don't know
that.
how to handle the energy. They'll be
Oh.
like, and I asked for this and I did it. I said, are you telling me that you've been sitting here for 10 minutes and you haven't received a drink? Who was your now I'm more upset than they are. And they're like, well, it's no. Point them out because I'm about to, they
shit.
don't know how to handle that
Yo,
energy.
you had me.
Yeah.
I was ready to go
You're
get
like,
him.
was it me?
Yo, let's go
Did
get
I
this
do it?
motherfucker
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now.
Absolutely.
Let's kill them. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, let's take the food out of their child's mouth. They're fired. Like, we're gonna
I'm
go.
gonna do it right in front of
They're
you.
gonna
Right
be
in front of
living
you.
under a bridge
Right.
by the end of the night.
and I
because
will
you're-
come back and let you know, like,
Right.
see, I got rid of your problem.
Right.
Pop star.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're a pop star.
Pop star.
You gotta meet it, match it,
Oh my
and
God,
then
and
exceed
exceed it.
their
Ooh,
energy.
yes.
Yeah.
That sounds like some
Meet,
self-help
match,
And then
shit.
and exceed.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I was just, no, that's from Jamie. I was just like, I was
like,
over
that
here with the
was great.
stank thing. I was-
get it.
Meet, match, and exceed.
Yeah. It's fully unhinged.
Oh, and that's the best part.
But
The best part is because you have such a theatrical personality, so she can stay in character and give them this energy, and so they're like fully dialed in. Like, wait, I don't really know how to
I
respond.
almost
Like,
believe it at that
Yes.
point. I'm like
Yeah.
back there and
Full
I'm
on
like,
cosplay.
I'm like, fuck
Full
them.
on
You know?
cosplay.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Let's go to the back
I'm like,
and let's go find
let's
these motherfuckers.
get a
and
sock
then-
full of quarters and beat them. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm calling the police.
your
On your
calamari
behalf.
was cold. Like,
What?
what? You know? Like, fuck them. Fuck them kids. You know? Like, it's over. Socks full of quarters.
Oh, I should try that.
For real.
Yeah, I've never tried that.
People don't. Yeah, it works.
And I
Yeah.
think you would do it well because I feel like you would be able to maintain character.
I would love to. The problem is I've leaned too hard into the. I didn't want to say lean too hard into the asshole, but
Well,
okay. It's on par for this show.
sir, that's your own business, okay? Good for you.
But I have kind of like been so far into that energy that a lot of time because okay, let me explain this. So
Okay, this I know. I can say when I met you, I was definitely like
so
not bothered, but like okay.
okay, so all right, so I work at Fight Club first of all. Second of all, especially last year, I had so many instances where I would be in the middle of an argument with a guest and I'm like, why are you even yelling at me? I have no idea what the fuck is happening. And last year, I remember there was a situation. I did not handle it correctly. I will admit that. But I just remember that my boss and my coworker, who is the person I didn't handle it correctly with, and we've since talked about that and I've owned my shit. Like I fucked up on that. But they were both like, well, if you have an issue, just get one of us and just leave it alone. I was like, I was waiting for y'all. Didn't you hear me yelling at that motherfucker, telling him to get out of my face? Neither one of y'all came. I was yelling. You didn't show up. So I kept going and it kept escalating. But
Kept rolling.
then he kept, like my boss kept saying, it's like, well, if you can't get one of us, man, just try to diffuse it, try to be nice and try to be this. And I was like, okay. So that's what I do is I smile and I laugh at people and they do not take it
I
well.
was gonna say people don't like that.
No,
Yeah,
but
don't.
I mean, when I would just look at them with a stoic face and not try to do anything to set them off, that didn't work either.
They also don't.
So
think
then
it's
I
your face,
overcorrected.
Maybe.
It is my
Oh,
face.
Yeah.
I have a very
that sets
punchable
people
face
off because
behind the bar.
I give the silent, like I'm listening,
Mhm.
and so now my face is just,
No.
and you talking
Yeah.
about getting unhinged.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I was listening to your story. You were going on and on about
No.
the details. I'm just trying to get
You-
all the details, and now you're
They
really like
want
mad
A very like active.
because they see color then because I'm tall and like now I'm aggressive.
They want
I
an
didn't say anything.
active listener. You have to active. Yes. Okay. Right. Lots of head nods, lots of blinking of eyes, and things of that.
Oh, yeah, no, straight
folded
stare
up
face.
hands. This is a really good. Like they
I don't
love
think
a,
I can do this.
They love this.
I'm
They
sorry.
love like a
I have
fidget.
purple hair. I can't do this while listening to a story. Tell me more. I look like I'm plotting something.
Wow. Yeah, it turns into this.
I just
Turns
pull
into
up a fucking cat and
Yeah.
listen to the fucking
Slowly
story.
stroking a cat. Yeah. Yeah, you can't dead face people.
No.
Yeah, you
They
have
don't
all,
enjoy
she has
that.
all the tips and the tricks.
I ain't got
because
none of those.
I would walk past the desk and I'm like, this person is unhinged, and she's fully giving them the
Yes. Yes.
all
Oh.
the things.
Me, I look like Birdman.
Yeah.
Yo, tell me more,
that's
bro.
and
Tell me
for
more. I'll
me,
treat
I'm,
y'all.
I'm standing there like, clasped hands because
Yeah.
I want to look less intimidating because I'm a tall black woman. That's already a thing.
It's very intimidating.
Because they can see color then. And so, but if I just look at you,
Oh shit, I feel intimidated now.
Are you intimidated?
Fuck,
he
what
get
did I
ya?
do?
She got you. She got her.
Do you need me to give you a positive review? Because I'll do it.
Right.
Just unclasp your hands, yo. Thank you. All right.
Oh, God.
Gosh. Fuck. I was worried for a
Get my
minute.
throat in that clasp.
God damn. Is this what it's like to be in the presence of a strong black woman?
Yeah.
I stare and I see them.
Yeah.
I see color and people, so they don't like that.
Mm,
People tend to not like that. No.
sorry. I
Yeah.
do see people in color, and
Yeah.
they do not
All of
like
them.
that.
Yeah.
They
I
don't.
fully agree with
They
that.
don't, but I think they should. This is like not even about the podcast, but I see people, and I think my friends can attest to this. Like, I see people like beyond like what they present. Like, I see back here. Like, that's just one of my gifts. And so when people are on that BS, they don't like that I can see that they're unhinged.
Yeah. Sir, you've lost it. Yeah. You're.
And you lost me with that story because that's
Right.
not true. Were they black or were they Mexican?
Yeah.
Now I'm going to ask you that. Really? Because I don't even have any black staff.
Yeah.
Wow. Except
Right.
for me.
Right. Was it me? Did I do
Was
it?
me? Did I take the purse? Have I been looking for myself the entire
The-
time?
Oh
You
my
caught me.
gosh.
What in the Twilight is what?
Fucking
Help.
what, the M. Night Shyamalan?
Yeah.
What? There's a twist at the end. It was me.
There was
the
only
entire time.
one like set of footprints because I was carrying myself. Like I don't. What the fuck?
What are you,
Like
Black Jesus?
yeah. Am I?
You were levitating the whole
Yeah.
time.
The
Like,
whole with the purse. Yeah.
yes, with the, you
Come
changed real
on.
quick, like you did a quick change.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
all of the things.
All of it.
All the things.
Get out of here.
Hmm.
So ridiculous.
I don't know where to take it from there. Like, what's everyone thinking? What's something that's
You
on
had
your
a
mind?
segue for us that you wanted to
I
say
had
after the
one
juicy
earlier,
end, but-
and then
Are you about to skip?
oh,
your
actually, Pete has a really good one.
Okay.
Stripper story.
He wants, yeah, he wants
so-
He wants
Yes.
the stripper
the stripper
He wants a
story.
stripper
Okay, go.
story.
We'll take her stripper story. I can't be quiet.
Tennie has a few more. Okay. So this is a couple months after we reopen. I have recently been promoted to assistant front office manager. Didn't want the position to begin with. Took the position. Fully out of my league. Don't know what's happening, but we're doing this. It's a Saturday or something like that. Guests are checking in. 2 guys check into a suite. We send them up. All is good. All of a sudden, we start getting noise complaints.
He said, "Move a little closer to your mic."
How
Or
close?
just, I mean,
Okay.
if you want to cup it with both hands.
Right. I'm like,
I'll give viewers
This is
however I
different.
can.
Look away. and be
It's a
quiet
different
at this
podcast.
point.
Yeah. So we start getting noise complaints, smoking complaints. It smells like weed up on the 7th floor. There's lots.
Smells black up there.
Yeah, it's giving Negroes is what it's giving.
Were they black or were they Mexican?
Yeah. They were mixed. It was both.
Right.
It was the worst combo you could ever
Is
imagine.
it weed or is it
Interracial
multi?
dating.
Yeah.
What?
No. Right. Yeah. So everyone's terrified. So we're like, what?
Everyone's terrible.
I'm scared. Stop. No.
And so she's giving them the finger.
I'm giving twisted fingers. I'm giving active listening. I'm like, oh my God, no, it smells like weed. Oh my God, who even smokes nowadays? Like,
Yeah.
It's a pandemic.
take a gummy. Like, I don't know. It's chaotic, right? So all of this commotion is happening, getting all the noise complaints, and now we start seeing women
Ladies of the evening.
Yes.
What?
Dressed.
Provocatively?
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
It was just a Victoria's Secret runway show.
Apparently.
Yes.
So I look down from our area. You look down kind of at the front door, and I see this one girl, and she has on a thong and like a mesh something cover all, and it's not covering anything. So I'm like, okay, that's obviously going
DoorDash.
right.
Absolutely. Like
That
with
is
the pandemic,
DoorDash.
Somebody's
she is
Instacart.
multitasking.
Yeah. So I call security,
She's
and I'm
DoorDashing
like,
that.
that ass.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not postmating the pussy.
Yeah, she surely did. And I was very, oh. Keep in mind, I'm like,
Did you give her a room key so that she could make it to her destination on time?
no, at this point, they have figured out a way to just like get people up to the
Oh,
room. Like
yeah.
there's someone in the lobby just like buzzing people up.
Wonderful.
So I call,
Choo choo. Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
I call security. I call security and I'm like, hey, I know you guys don't do anything, but for this one time, maybe, could you please help me? Right.
Did they go up the elevator too? Because they were probably interested in that part.
Well,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
And so at this point, no one's doing their job. The bellman, the
Well,
doorman,
someone's
the
doing
bellmen
their
are letting
job.
them in and
Yeah.
having a good time and taking pictures. I'm
yeah.
sure.
I mean, it's like a full. It's just.
I
it's-
know your team.
It's
They were taking pictures.
They were.
Yeah.
They were.
Yeah.
And they're coming up to me. They're like, "Did you see that one?" And I'm like, "How could I not?" You know, I didn't have a choice. So I go upstairs with security, and it's me, and I'm like wearing like cropped capris, like just like the dorkiest, like non-authoritative like outfit you could ever imagine. Like I have like a peplum top on. It's just like very like, hi guys, like my name is
That
Dez.
is
You know?
the best way to describe you.
It really is.
Because
It is.
as she stated, she didn't want the job to begin with.
Right.
So I used to love to see what she would just come in on every day.
I'd
Actually,
wear like
both of
I'd be
them,
like
but,
literally
you know.
like in a crop
Whoa,
top,
whoa.
but with like a blazer on, you know?
I know you caught that stray. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I go up to the door and I knock on the door, and this like, I swear he was like 10 feet tall. This like 10-foot tall like black man. I know he was black. He was not Mexican. He comes to the door and I'm like, hi, I'm a manager. You know, like
Did you want an invitation?
I'm the boss, and we're getting noise complaints, and you can't smoke in here. And security's like down the hall somewhere. Like they've completely fucked off, and they've left me to deal with the situation. Like literally,
Because they saw how tall he was. And they said,
Right.
They saw color,
And they
said,
were
"We
like,
are
not us."
We don't want any parts of this.
he literally opens the door, and it's like music. There's
Wait, is it the same one that always came in that had
No.
the same? Okay.
no, there's like 1,000 people in the room. Like smoke comes out. I'm like, I'm
They were
immediately,
hotboxing.
I'm
in there.
immediately high.
Right, you're like, wait, I'm walking in.
I'm like, you know, right? And so I'm like, hey, like, you know, it's COVID. You can't have more than 6 people in this room. And he's like, there's not more than 6 people in this room. I can clearly
Like,
see in the room. It's like,
see.
there's like a girl twerking.
I
Like,
mean,
upside
how you gonna argue with it?
right. And what do I say?
You're absolutely right, sir. I only see 2. Got it. Okay,
Yes.
I'm gonna go back
and
to
that's
my desk.
and that's what I said, because I had no backbone at that time. I was
Right.
like, okay.
I mean, you were wearing capris.
I was wearing
And
If
security.
your
had-
if your
security
calves
dipped
are
out.
showing,
Your
you're
calves was-
you're
now,
done.
but here was the thing. This is what I want to know. Did he give you a handshake or no? Like the handshake?
no,
Oh.
no.
Damn.
No,
The
I was
disrespect.
intruding. I was clearly disturbing this fine man, and I was like,
In his show.
in
He
his
got
show,
entertainment.
right.
It was live TV.
So I was like, okay, well, as long as there's not more than 6. As I'm looking at like
25 people.
Right,
Got it.
right.
Just the women. That's not even counting the men.
right, and so I was like, all right, and so I walked back to security, and I was like, well, he said there wasn't more than 6 people, and they're like, well, you could have gone in the room. I was like,
And do what?
Not come back out.
Right. You look. You would have been like me walking to
I-
the private room when they were doing what they was doing in Atlanta, and I'm like, I don't want to be in here. Actually,
I don't feel safe. Yeah, this is
like,
not a safe place.
security, someone help me.
I was
Nope.
like,
Okay.
this is bad. I need to not be here. So finally, at this point, I'm like, okay, I've clearly lost control. Like, you know, and so I call our GM and I'm like, hey, I'm scared. I don't know what to do. I'm like, there are flyers on Instagram going out with our hotel's address on them.
Wow.
Saying that, there's a party and there's
Not flyers.
there's flyers. And so at this point, he's like, you have authority to kick them out. Like, this is now like,
I mean, yeah, there's a flyer.
there's a flyer with our,
She has authority in her capris.
Yeah.
To go back to the room.
me and my
say-
Bermuda
and
shorts
and peplum top.
and peplum top have authority. My H&M blazer.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Looking
I
like
need-
an off-duty Walmart greeter.
Yeah.
Like, hey, sir, looks like you have more than 6.
Yeah.
I know.
Gonna
I
need-
just said
I
that
saw the
there's-
flyer.
Right.
I know what I said earlier. Then I saw the flyer. You crossed some boundaries.
You gotta
sir.
go. You gotta
know.
go.
So wait, what?
I've had it up to here. with
Yes.
you.
Higher than
It's
the
time for you
capris.
to go.
my whole shin on display. I was like,
Okay, how did this end?
so at this point, they talked to, I put our GM on speaker because he's like not pleased with any of this. At this point, like,
Oh, because you had a good GM at the time.
yeah. At this point, he's like, you're clearly a child and you shouldn't be. No, because I was like, no, seriously, I was like 26. Like, I really was a child. Like, there's no, and the security people are like in their 40s. Like, I shouldn't have been dealing with this.
Right.
Like, security should have absolutely been handling this. It was,
Once again,
Yeah.
it was not in your job description to kick people out.
Yeah.
Your job is to get the people in
Right.
and do this, and make
Welcome.
them feel comfortable,
Right.
to spend their money
Yeah.
in the room.
Yeah.
Security's job is to go up there and kick them
and
out
kick
if
them
they
out
want
when
someone
there's
to be kicked
when
out.
there's strippers and and all this
25 people plus in a pandemic.
tomfoolery that's going
Yeah.
on. That's not my job. And so finally our GM was like, get them out. He was like, get them out. Like, that's enough. And so finally, like, security went up and evicted them. I stood down the hallway and trembled in my capris. I was like, oh my God. And yeah, they left without incident. It didn't turn into like a huge like big thing, but yeah, that was
at that point. You're kind of.
yeah. I mean,
What
the
can
party
you
was
do?
over at this point. Like, they had been there for this
They
took,
got their money's worth.
this took hours for the situation to be resolved. It was probably like
I mean, case
10
in
p.m.
point, like you said, how long it took, but it would, and we all know this because we all worked at the same place. We all had the same security, and yes,
Yeah.
just do it yourself, because
so yeah, that was I'm stressed just even thinking about it. It was like
Yeah.
it was such an ordeal.
So if it happened now, what would you do? Would you have gone in the room?
That's a really good question.
Ooh.
No, I would not have gone. What? No, I wouldn't have gone in the room. I would have been like, we're done. We're just done. Like, it wouldn't have gone to like, you can only have 6 people, and I've been like, everybody out. Like, you're not gonna, because he closed the door. Like, when he walked out the first time, he walked out and closed the door behind him. Like, so I saw what was in there, but then he closed it. You're not even closing the door. I'm putting my foot in the door. You're all out. Get out. You're smoking. I'm charging the smoking fee. It's a
That,
suite, so I'm going to charge
sure.
it double because it's twice the space. And you're getting out now. I'm pulling up all the cars that are associated with this room. I will have a bellman assist you with your luggage, but you do need to leave now. And if you don't, I'm calling PD, and that's it.
Nice.
I'm an adult now, guys.
We love
I'm
it.
an
We've
adult.
seen the evolution.
I'm an adult.
I love that you close it that way by describing the way that you would handle it now, because especially when some of our viewers out there who may be in their early mid 20s, late 20s and things like that, when they hear, especially us on the show, like myself, saying like, oh, your kids, like, we're not saying your kids, we're just saying within this business, within this industry, you literally don't know what you don't know because
Yeah.
you haven't been through it yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what to do now because one, you've been through it, and then you've learned all the other lessons from that and everything else. So it's not to say that someone in their 20s cannot be a manager or cannot handle the responsibility. It's just you're in your 20s. You shouldn't have to.
Yeah,
You
if
know,
you've never
some-
dealt with that before, like, you've just never dealt. And people have
That's
different
what experience is.
personalities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're also still just trying to find your voice. Like, I want to say something because I know you said that I critique you all the time, but I remember when Jamie was in her 20s and I was her GM, and
You're talking about that guy that made me
the guy that was on the phone.
I was just thinking about that
talking
right now.
mad shit to her, and she sat on the phone talking to him, and she started crying. Once I saw that tear, I said, "Oh, absolutely not! You will not let this man talk to you like that on the phone. You gonna hang this phone up?" Like, I done went to a whole different mode. Like, absolutely,
Yeah.
why are you letting him talk to you like that? Hang that phone up on him.
On the phone.
Mom,
Yeah.
I mean, I was green.
Yeah.
She
I
felt
was
like
in
she had to.
shock.
I was like, you absolutely
Yeah.
do not have to accept that kind of treatment. If anything, hand me the phone. Let me talk to him.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna see
But-
if he got the same thing to say.
I mean, never again.
You're
I
right.
mean, after
She did
that,
not do it
never
again.
again.
It took one
It
time.
took
Yeah.
one time
Yeah.
for someone to talk to me a certain way, and
Took one
you
stripper.
just
and
you
then-
just learn, you know. And
But I think she needed to feel empowered, like you said earlier. And it goes both ways. You mentioned how managers often don't have the backs of like those that report to them, but also as a manager, you know, upper management ownership sometimes doesn't support you. And I wanted her to know, like, I'm not going to stand for someone talking to you like that. Like, you didn't, first of all, what he was talking about, that's a whole different, like, you know, it's like she was not in the wrong, but even if she had done something wrong, she did not deserve for him to talk to her in that kind of manner.
course.
And I was like, you do not have to sit there and let that person degrade you like that to that point. Like, we can end this right now. We can, there's a lot of ways we could approach this, but again, also I with my staff, I have always been like, if you don't feel comfortable talking to the guests, let me do it.
Mm-hmm.
Cause I don't care.
Yeah, yeah. No, I love that. Anytime we have anybody who's popping off at work, if our GM doesn't already want to be the one to handle it, I'm like, yo, let me, please. I'd love to talk to him. I've gotten enough bad Yelp reviews. I do not care. It's not going to phase me.
I mean, yeah.
If they haven't fired me yet, they're definitely not going to fire me now because I don't even do anything that's fireable.
Yeah.
So if someone tries to write a review about me now, it's probably because I'm looking out for someone else.
Right.
Because
And I think
I've
that's-
had those instances lately in the last 6 months, especially where someone has tried to get loud with me or take something out on me. And I'm just, whatever. I don't care.
Mhm.
You know, it's just, it doesn't fucking matter. I've even had someone try to come in, I want to say within the last 2 weeks, especially, who the last time I saw them tried to actually fight me while at my
Physically?
bar, like physically tried to fight. And
Is it that serious? Like,
it's never that. It's never
But
that.
see, now if he had
serious.
taken your
Sir,
advice
it's
and
an
then he
espresso,
escalated it
like-
higher than like now,
Right.
now he's
Yeah.
gonna, were they black or were they Mexican? Before I ask how you responded.
Oh, he was black.
Oh,
that makes sense.
well, now both y'all going to jail. Okay, because they will see that.
Yeah. That's fine.
Now, in that case, yeah, I will say you don't do that.
Like,
don't.
No, but I
do
agree.
that.
You get to a point where it's like not even like not caring, but it's about there's just certain standards that I have that are just that's not going to happen. This is a professional establishment,
Mhm.
so I'm just not going to accept certain things. Not going to do it. You don't have to be here. You're person of privilege. You can leave and be privileged at your house
Get out of here, pop star.
or wherever else that you do your thing at,
Right.
but not over here
But
with
not
me.
here.
Not here with me.
Yeah.
Not here with my staff. Like, you're not going to treat them any kind of way like they're the help. We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
I don't know when the last time this happened to me. I will say recently we had a party that I was very thankful before they came in. I knew I wasn't going to get that type of energy as far as people who come in and they think
was it us?
Yeah.
Was it last weekend? Oh, right.
Yeah, when was it?
Right.
When was it?
no, nothing like that. It's just
That's
you know, it's been one of those things. It's been one of those things that we've talked about on the show before. You know, which we have dubbed the we outside energy. Yeah, exactly. Not even knowing the definition, you know what? Because
I worked in Atlanta,
I
so
know
I
that.
Yeah.
already.
Yeah, I know.
Look,
I immediately was
I'm
like,
exhausted
Right.
just thinking about it.
not
Yeah.
outside.
But-
Like, oh. Like,
but we
one place you don't
we
want
had an
them.
event on Saturday.
thank you.
He's already defined it up here before.
Sorry.
Let me do it in my own time. If you want to come up here and do it, then walk your ass out here and do it. Don't tell me what to do, motherfucker. You're producing today. Anyway, for
The
everybody
man
else,
behind the curtain.
fucking Oz and me.
Right.
Tell him you're not afraid.
All right.
So I will say this for me and Rob, especially, who's not here, and we may not even be able to actually, whatever. So me and Rob went to another place a week ago, and we got there, and it was very much we outside energy, but it was we outside energy in a we outside environment.
Yes.
So therefore, it was just
Fun.
Because
Lovely.
yes,
It was just
because there is
fucking
a difference.
Yeah.
There is a
You
difference.
know,
There's a time
Which-
and a place.
I'm gonna
yeah.
bell that.
Yeah.
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 There's a
Which
time and a place.
we walked in
So
like
what he said is he matched, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was the first one you said? Something and then matched and then
I
exceeded.
think I said meet, match,
Oh
and
yes,
exceed.
yeah. So he met
Yeah.
and matched.
exactly. Yeah, we got there and we weren't expecting a we outside event because the
But
person
you
who
said,
told us,
well-
the person who told us made it sound as though it was we inside event.
Use your
Right.
inside
Be-
voice.
well, I came prepared to,
Mm-hmm.
and I got there and I was like, I have to shout.
Yeah.
And I just, I would have liked a little bit more of a warning. But at the same time, when I did say that to this person, they were like, but it's me.
And we're
These
outside.
are only events I go to. And I was like, you right.
Yeah.
You
Right. Yeah.
So I had to check myself on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But as far as the event itself, it was the only problem I had with the event was that the drinks took so fucking long.
That'll ruin everything.
Yeah. They would have made more money off me had I been able to get my drinks faster.
And that's really the other thing. Like, think about the revenue aspect. This is where you make your money is with the alcohol. And so if you've got we outside energy, you need to have we outside speed.
You need outside bartenders. Thank you. Please.
Slanging drinks.
You got
not
inside
making craft cocktails.
bartenders
You got to
outside.
do, look.
Like, come on now. Like, if I'm coming in, and this was on a Sunday, it was Cinco de Mayo.
Oh,
I'm coming in Cinco de Mayo, day off. I see a bunch of beautiful people in the venue. I'm thinking they're gonna have these bartenders ready to go. We're gonna be slanging
Because
drinks. The
literally that's
music
what you're
was
there
bumping.
for.
Exactly. And I got there and I saw their bartenders, and all I did was feel pity for them because they were dealing with outside energy, even though it was good outside energy. They couldn't match it because they were totally fucking, whether they were prepared or not,
Right.
they didn't have the tools.
Yeah.
They didn't have the capability to be able to handle those crew. Even the ones who could possibly handle that speed, you could tell, well, if the
Overwhelmed.
people surrounding me aren't going to be able to match that speed, I'm just going to work myself into the ground.
Yeah.
So it does add a little bit more perspective because we have been talking about the whole we outside thing here and there, and it's never, and I know we've said this before, but just to reiterate, it's never that we're like, oh, we don't want we outside energy. It's like, nah, it's just if we're an inside venue, we want inside like energy. If we an outside venue, we want outside energy, And that place is, you could tell that they were not being supported the way that they should have been, because they should have made way more money than they did. That event should have went way smoother than it did. Yeah, I forgot where I was going with that.
But it's hard.
Other than I just felt bad for them. I really did.
It's hard to witness that when you come from this industry. Okay, for instance, Valentine's Day. I just really wanted some dessert. I took a chance to go. The place shall remain nameless. And as soon as I walked in, I said, "Oh, they are not staffed. Maybe I should go back home because this is going to be a thing." I ended up staying, and it wasn't as bad, but it was very clear from the minute I walked in that they're not really prepared. And this is a holiday that you should be staffed for. I mean, I even sat and talked with them.
style of thing, or
What was that? I'm sorry.
like a V-Day,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to be busy that night. That. And I was a walk-in because I was like, who is accepting walk-ins? Okay, let's walk in. Walk in. They're not ready. Don't put walk-ins on there then.
Don't tell us you ready for walk-in energy when you got reservation
That you can't even see.
working.
I'm
barely
seeing,
built for reservations, and you're saying we can accept walk-ins. I'm gonna come in with walk-in energy, and if you can't meet that, now I felt like I wasted my time. You told me to come here.
You
told me
to
I
come
was
here.
welcome. Now I'm not welcome.
Yeah.
You gonna segregate me as walk-in?
It literally
From
said
the
it on the
rezos?
menu. Before I even left, I was like, okay. Yeah.
I've only had that happen once or twice recently, but it is a very frustrating feeling especially if you have to drive to a place and plan out and get your significant other or date or friend or whoever to
Yeah.
go with you. And then you finally get there and then they can't even seat you to the capabilities that they told you on their site or on the phone or something like that. No, I can't abide by that. I will always take the side of those in the industry when it's warranted, but we do have people in positions or doing things that they should not be doing, and it does make it harder for the rest of us in the industry to do our job the way that we're trying to.
I mean,
So.
speaking of, because
Sorry.
I worked Mother's Day yesterday.
Oh, the worst holiday to work. My God.
It was
I went to the grocery store. Actually, the best time to go to the grocery store in LA, Mother's Day.
Mother's
There's no
Day.
one around.
Really?
it
Yes.
was
No one's shopping.
Beautiful. Everyone's taking their mom out. I was like, blessed.
but so I worked yesterday and it was literally chaos.
It is.
Sorry.
Chaos.
Everyone's
My
like, I'm
tel-
here for Mother's Day. Really?
You
Just
and everyone else? Could it be?
I'm like having flashbacks about yesterday because it was a day.
Yeah.
It was
I already
literally a day.
know.
I walked in and it was chaos.
and it was
I
a
asked-
Sunday, so you have the whole weekend for it just to be like,
Well, I was off Friday and Saturdays, which was
oh,
fine.
lucky
and,
you, because I know it was a mess
you know,
on
if
those
anyone's
days
gonna
too.
take Friday and Saturday off, it's gonna be me. Like I'm just saying. Like I put my time in, that's gonna be me.
There you go.
But I asked my fellow coworkers to do one fucking thing.
Here we go.
They had
One
one job,
job, and you couldn't even fucking do it right. And I was
but
just
you knew
like-
that before you asked them, because we've had this conversation multiple times.
Oh.
I said,
Here she goes.
make sure you request all the silverware and all the things that you need for Sunday.
Yeah.
I saw in the email that I went out Saturday night.
Stop.
I'm like, you're fucking with me right now, right? Like, I have 270 covers.
Is it who I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
that's what I was
what
like. We've been here before, so we already know.
And I said, there's only one person.
Yeah. And we had one job. And I reminded you on Thursday. Okay. I did everything else. I did all the buttons. I did all the menus.
But why
I did
didn't you just do their job for them? I don't understand.
Wait a minute. You did the buttons?
the buttons on micros?
Yo, if you go through the time to actually do the buttons ahead of time, yo, your staff fucking sucks. I'm sorry.
They fucked up
Like,
because I
yeah.
did the,
Nah,
I
they
did the
fucked up.
buttons.
Not they suck, but they fucked up.
Here's the thing.
I don't mean to disrespect them.
I
You
saw-
don't suck.
I
but
saw
you
the
fucked up on
No,
that
no
one,
need
'cause
to
come on, man.
apologize, because it is a culture thing. Because when we were there together, she was like the button creator, and then
I'm
when
still
she
I'm
moved-
still the button creator.
wait,
for
hold
both
on.
hotels.
When you moved over to your building, and now we were in separate buildings, I became the button creator for my building, and everyone would be like, hands off, like, no, I'm not going to learn how to do it. Now, when I was on medical leave last year, they're like,
Oh, they
Jamie,
called me.
Jamie,
They
can
called
you help
me.
us? Jamie, can you help us?
Can you
Because
show-
no one wanted to learn from me when I was there.
Yeah. You
And
know,
now I was like, what do we do? We're reaching out to Jamie
I
to come
offered
walk
my
over
time
and-
up to them, and
I
I
remember.
taught 2 classes because I was like, I can't do this every holiday.
They weren't listening, and
And I
I
was
know
just
that
like,
because
dude.
when I tried to teach, they were like, do 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 do.
So-
I was like, you're not even looking at the
And that's not just exclusive to these places.
Right.
Yeah.
We've all seen that plenty of times.
Yep.
Plenty of times. That's why I had the reaction that I had when you said,
No,
I made the buttons ahead of time.
Yeah,
Because
I
have
so
been
I-
that
I
server bartender who's
did
saying,
everything.
"Hey, can we get these buttons that
right.
you
The last
told-
minute,
that
like
you
literally,
told
I
us a
need
month
to
ago?"
type it in right now. There's a guest, and I can't. Like, oh, just
Yeah.
use open food, open.
We had training on this, and you told us the buttons would be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no button. And then you tell me open food, but guess what? You took the privilege from me. I'm not one of those privileged people. I'm not a person of privilege.
Yeah.
I can't do open shit.
I'm not a pop server.
It's
Yeah, I
open and
can't.
shut over here. I'm sorry. So, can I get some buttons, please?
Yeah.
And then it takes another half an hour. And then
Absolutely.
the price is wrong, or the description is wrong, or something's
All
wrong.
the things.
So
Oh my
they
God.
hear that the buttons were done in advance.
So the buttons,
it's still
no,
missed?
it was done. But here's the thing. I turned them all on and I told them that it was done. And I saw an email on Saturday and a text on Saturday. Hey, can you walk me through the process? I was like, I'm not waiting for
Not on
you.
a Saturday.
Not on a Saturday
You-
when I'm off
sorry.
the night before the
You
holiday.
called off, and I did them because I'm not gonna wait around for you to do it because
Wait,
I'm trying
sorry,
to
the
set myself up for
individual called
success.
Called off.
The day it was like the day that he was like, "Show me how to do it."
Wait, I'm sorry. Wait, was the call off before Thursday or during the
No, it was
days
on
off?
Thursday. It's on Thursday.
The
He's like,
call-off was on Thursday.
"Show me on Thursday when I come in," and I was like,
And then,
Psych.
and then
so
called-
he called off, and so I was like,
my gosh.
I'm not fucking waiting for you because I know I'm
Yeah.
going to be 2 days.
And then was like, and this is also a person of privilege that, and I know this because
Both
I
of
know
them?
that person. That person waited until her off day, the night of your off day before you're coming in to be like, hey, can you help me with this? Blocked.
or they'll call me and
Blocked,
say on
blocked.
my phone.
Why
But
are
I-
you
so
The
contacting
match
me?
exceed blocked. Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Why
a
are
whole
you
different
contacting
space.
me on my day off?
you didn't fucking check the. I told you to plug in the computer and make sure it works. Did they?
Did they?
Absolutely fucking not. Because when I came in on Sunday and I plugged in that computer, the buttons weren't there. And they were on that specific computer because it does every holiday. And that's why I said check it on Friday when the IT guy is still here. Did they do it? No.
Don't get me started on IT because that's
So-
a whole other.
I'm
Especially
sorry.
at that
I'm
location.
fucking. So
My
I'm
God,
security.
really?
I'm IT and
I'm more
accounting.
IT
Yeah.
than you.
And that's, you know what? For
You're
you
an
know me, I don't have
independent Tennie?
attitude. But the one person I had attitude with, IT.
I'll take that.
I don't know, for whatever reason, I felt very empowered to give IT all of the attitude. When I tell you, they'd be bent
Fucking
down.
nerds.
I'd be like, well, I don't know why. I don't know why. I just like, fuck you forever. Like, I don't like. I'd be like, can you like bend down and check that printer because it's not printing. You know, like, get out of here. Bugged me. He was actually really nice though. I don't know why I hated him so much.
Because it's kind of lazy.
Because
that's
he had
why.
person of privilege energy.
He did.
Like
He did.
from his country. And I'm going to leave it at that.
He'd be like, well, did you restart it? Who do I look like? Like,
He's
that's
like-
not my job.
He's like,
my job is
did you get my email with the instructions? I was like,
instructions.
I gave you step-by-step instructions. I was like, excuse me, I don't work for IT.
Yeah.
Right. I was like, now you want me to go back in and do so once again, I'm now IT, but I'm not getting IT money.
Right.
Mm.
Could be me. Could be.
Yeah.
Damn sure couldn't be me because my
Yeah.
phone stays on silent.
Hello.
So
Same.
y'all-
No.
I
just blow
get
this
into
fucking-
work and my manager's like, well, my GM, he knows better. Like, and I don't mean he knows better like that. Like, he don't check his phone either.
Right. No,
he
I
knows
love your
damn well I
GM,
ain't
though.
checking about
love your
my other manager. He'll be like, have you seen this one message? It's like, I just clocked in 5 minutes ago. I guarantee you I ain't seen a message from 2 days ago. You told me to check my messages when I clocked in. I clocked in and then you asked me a question. I ain't seen shit.
No clue what's happening.
I've seen you.
Right.
So now tell me. Give me a verbal.
You're here. I'm here. Let's
Verbal
have
it to
let's
me.
have a chat.
Tell me.
Yeah.
This is the best way to communicate.
But also, there's a guest. So give me 1 second.
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
like, I'm so sorry. There's a guest.
Oh, they need a
Yeah.
water. I'll be
Right. That's what I exactly look. They've been here 30
That
seconds. I need to
table
go
way
greet them.
over
I
there,
need to go greet them.
That
They
table
haven't
over
been
there,
greeted yet.
and you know I don't like tables.
Right.
I'm gonna go
Yeah.
get
The
a
bathroom,
table right
please
now.
allow me to
I'm
walk you all the way
Yes.
there.
Hello, homeless person.
Yeah, right.
Would you like for me to escort you to and from the
We have new
restroom?
specials. Have you heard? Yeah. Anything to get
Room
out of
temperature water.
it. Right. Yeah. You got it.
Gotcha.
Love it.
Truly.
Yeah,
Truly.
I that's one of the main reasons I never got into management is I don't
Oh, you
like
don't like what
answering
we do?
emails.
What we got
I
to
don't
deal
like
with?
emails.
It's
I don't
annoying.
like being contacted when I'm not at work.
Ooh.
I don't like thinking about work when I'm not at work. This is as close as I get to thinking about work when I'm not at
Is
work.
to
be
hosting a whole
perfect. Yeah.
podcast about work.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But mostly listening to other people
Oh,
talk
that
about
part.
work.
Yeah.
I like that part, but
No, it absolutely
Yeah.
has its challenges. When I was on medical leave and staff would be texting me like, when are you coming back?
Never.
that sounds like an X right there.
The answer is never.
I promise you I'll change
Yeah.
if you just come back.
Yeah.
Ooh, don't get. Never mind.
Ooh, relationship pod. Let's do it.
Have you ever
Yes.
Never have I ever.
Are you
Have
still on
you
dating
ever-
people in the industry that you work
Huh?
with? Is that what you're gonna say?
what?
What?
Are we?
I wasn't going to. I mean, we can.
We
Shit,
can.
let's
All
go
right,
there.
all right,
Fuck it. That's better than what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Have you guys talked about that?
I mean, I
I
have.
think that's a great one because our industry is notorious for that.
Yes.
Oh, it's incestual, fully.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I only write in Company Ink.
Yeah. I think we
you
I
up.
know. I don't know
Oh.
What?
about situations where we have dipped our pen in
I don't
company
shit where
ink.
I sleep. Okay. All right. Thanks.
I was gonna say I don't know of any circumstance where you have.
Oh, that's why I said I'm making it clear.
Yeah,
Mm.
It's a standard for me.
I have definitely shot where I
Where you slept.
yeah.
You said shat?
I did shot.
The
yeah.
past tense, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I don't do it now.
Jamie.
Whoa!
What?
Ray.
I have never.
Right.
Not never.
Doth protest
Twice?
too much. I think. Yeah.
Twice? Oh my God.
Twice?
Twice.
Just twice?
Twice.
Oh, for now.
Yeah. Someone above me and someone below me.
At the same time,
No.
Excellent question.
Sandwich.
gotta get arranged somehow.
That's how I got my job. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Just kidding.
Only on merit.
But yes, I have. Yes. No.
I've definitely learned my lesson after the last one. I said after the last one
You're not doing it anymore?
and before the last one.
Yeah.
And
And
then
before
after
that.
the last one and
Yeah.
then before the last one.
And
so,
currently as we speak.
yeah. I think I'll stop shitting where I eat when I stop eating.
Okay. Look at him. He's no plan to stop.
Well, it's not that. It's not that.
I mean, I get
and
we're
I
at the
and I can't.
location like so often.
It's not
so
that. It's not that for
easy,
me
no.
because
Okay.
I definitely don't do nearly the amount of things that people think I do. I just like for it to seem that way because it helps me with the mystique of working at a bar. Like when you're a guy bartender, they expect you to try to talk to every woman.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to every woman. No offense, but I can't keep up with y'all. The stories.
Oh, it
and
must
the-
be so difficult
all the
for
things.
you. Yeah.
No, I mean, as a job, saying you have to deal with your male coworkers and your female coworkers. You have to deal with male guests and female guests, and just trying to always be on all the time, but also care about everyone. Like I gotta care about your story, just like I have to care about this person's story. You know, it's just sometimes it just kind of gets all fucking
Twisted.
Oh,
and-
absolutely. Imagine if you have
Muddied up.
a staff of all women. Whew.
I've never had that.
No, we have.
We
that.
did.
We
and
did.
my God.
Mm.
But that's
Yeah.
how we met. So
I have had
had a
staff
good
that
team,
were
though.
mostly
yeah.
men, though.
No,
When
did.
we were
And
together, we
one
had a-
male. I just thought about that. Sorry.
He was
to
nice.
share.
No.
Mm-mm.
Sorry, I had to bring
Yours-
it home.
Nah.
No. Mm-mm.
Okay. All right. You're-
Boom.
yeah. You can ring the
But,
bell
um,
if you want. Yeah, okay. I was waiting for it. All right, that's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, I'd say for me, it's never really been one of those things that is intentional.
No, I don't
me.
think it's ever intentional. It just kind
Yeah,
of just happened.
I've never been the guy.
Mine was
who-
intentional. I will
wanted
say
that.
that.
No, mine was.
Des is the only one with accountability.
Yeah. Oh no, I fully knew what I was doing. I was like,
Oh,
that is
yeah.
what I would like to do, and I did.
did it.
Yeah, I did.
and it was done.
Multiple times. Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I just always feel when it comes to crossing that boundary, it's all about communication. It's about respect, but it's also about both people just honoring what they're going to say.
Mhm.
So, you know, if it ends poorly or doesn't end poorly, whatever, I like to jokingly call it like contract negotiations. Like whatever you negotiate in the contract, like, hey, this is how we're going to work together going forward. This is what it's going to be. As long as everyone honors that, I think you're okay. But a lot of times whenever feelings get involved or,
Yeah, that goes out the
you know,
window.
yeah,
Yeah.
It just does. And I feel like that's why a lot of people tend to not do that because they don't want to be a part of it, you know? And it's definitely not something I ever intended to do. I just find myself in those situations. Yeah.
Have
No
you been?
accountability,
Have you been
ask myself.
tempted?
Did
Yeah,
I
have you
mention I
been
was a
tempted?
Capricorn? We don't have time for that. Mm-mm.
Okay,
No.
that's a strong
What is
resolve.
the whole thing with like astrology? Can we close out with that,
No,
please?
look, and I
I'm so
honestly am
confused.
not the one to even speak on that. I don't even really know, but I know that there's like certain like stubbornness and you know we're really hard to get to know, if you will. Like we have a guard at times, and I mean we're loyal to a fault, but like we also have this resolve, and we us working together. That just like not if I met you there and then it no, not for me.
I just always feel like
Next.
that doesn't really for me attach itself as much to astrology as it's just personality types. I guess that's where I always get confused when it comes to because working in this industry, you hear those conversations all the time. You're not trying to be a part of it, but you're always hearing. So, what's your sign and this and
Well,
that?
what is your sign?
I'm a Pisces.
Mm.
Yeah, that's usually the reaction that I get.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
but I also have friends, that they'll say one thing and they'll get that same reaction and be like, "Nah, that's not even what I was. Like, that's not."
Wait,
even
are you
what
about
I
to tell
am."
me that you're not a Pisces?
No, I am. Like,
Oh.
I just don't.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, but I do have friends,
She's
and
like,
I've
wait, no,
been
it
there
makes
and heard it.
perfect sense.
I'm just there. I've been there. I've heard it happen in real time where someone says, "Oh, I'm a Taurus," and they're like, "Oh yeah, you gave me Taurus energy," and I'm like, "Nah, I'm actually a Scorpio or something."
But that's what a Scorpio would say.
Yeah, of course. Of course. You're just going to fucking Jedi mind trick me with that shit. Fucking read the stars. You knew what my answers were going to be anyway. Oh, my God.
You can't win. Yeah.
No, I'd given up so long ago. So long ago. Like, the amount of bad dates that I have to listen to, I just have no hope anymore
I bet.
anyway.
Yeah.
It is bad. And not just the bad dates. And, we got like a good 10, 15 minutes here, and I think that's a good enough amount of time to end on this particular topic. But not just hearing the bad dates, but also hearing the catch up chats between like friends. Like a girl group or a guy group,
Yeah.
especially a duo, and you hear them talking about stuff,
so
and you're
good.
not trying to listen, and you're just hearing all these things, and this person wasn't contacting me, and this and that, and I don't know what to do with them, and I just had this happen a couple weeks ago where these two guests were sitting down, and another one of my friends was sitting down, and they were talking about a back and forth thing they were having with their ex, and trying to figure out what to do there. And the way that they were describing it to me, I then overheard these other two people talking. And one of them was saying not the same thing about an ex, but about someone that they were seeing at that time. Lack of communication, this and that. Oh, they're on vacation. I only heard from them one time. And they were like, oh, I'm busy. Like, and I said the typical thing because it is true. You make time for what you care about. And I said the same thing to both people. 15, 20 minutes go by and a couple more shots happen on this side. And then I overhear a conversation about, oh, I'm going to Cancun tomorrow and I'm going to see how many people I talk to while I'm there. And I got this outfit and that outfit. And then I was talking to this guy last night and I'm like, what happened to the other guy you were just talking about 20 minutes ago that you were so upset that you hadn't heard from? And it's just hearing the way that people are just trading each other like Pokemon cards. It's just terrifying to watch, man.
That's
Yeah,
wow.
That's
Yeah.
all I got on that. It's been sad. It's been sad to watch.
That reference just made me chuckle because prior to the service industry, I was in retail and also in Atlanta. But there was a giant theft ring for Pokemon cards at the major retailer that I was working at. And so I remember seeing a young person of privilege that came in his backpack and he had like stole a bunch of like Pokemon cards and then had to get tackled by security like after he passed all points of like entry and purchase. But he was kind of a big country boy, right? And so security was not strong enough, and so the security tackled him, and then another guest jumps in. Another guest of privilege jumped in and helped to keep him holding
Right,
down.
because
and
only
all
a
of
guest
this.
of privilege would
Only
pull
a
some
guest
shit
of
like
privilege would
that.
jump in and do
Yeah.
that.
No.
But
Yeah.
all of this over Pokemon cards, but it was a whole thing across Atlanta.
Do y'all remember when Pokemon Go came out?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did y'all have any
I think
instances
I
of
lived
that where
in
you worked?
LA. And people would come to where we worked,
Yeah.
that area, because they
try
were
to catch
popular to
Pokemon.
try to catch them.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You just took me back. I had forgotten all about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sorry,
like when
I
it
was
first
listening
came
to
out.
that.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
it's still a thing. Like people
Is it?
still
They
yeah
still catch them?
the kids
Oh.
yeah the kids
Yeah.
still play. I
I'm
mean
Look,
like recently
I had people standing outside my house trying to catch Pokemon. I'm like, well, I don't know you.
Get the
They
hell-
would, yeah. Apparently, I had a special Pokemon near my house, so people were standing outside my house. I was like, what the fuck? But My cousin told me. He's like, "Did you know that you?"
Sorry, that this whole story sounds racist.
I mean, look,
I was coming from
all of a sudden
Got it
there's
cleared.
a special
What the
Pokemon
fuck?
at her house.
Oh my
That's so
God.
funny. I don't see color, so I didn't quite see it.
Oh, but see, I see all the colors, so I was thinking
saw
like
nothing.
yeah.
Yeah, I saw color.
anime.
You saw
What?
color. You saw
Is
it.
happening?
You saw the color.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw color.
the colors.
Like a bright
Yeah.
yellow light. Hey, yo, Jamie, stop telling this story. It sounds bad.
You took it there. Okay.
Wait, so now we gotta say, are they black, Mexican, or Asian?
Yeah, right. Yeah, we need to give us a second.
Right, we'll update
Full
it.
circle.
You'll update it.
God. Well, we did say we would never talk about that one thing, so terrible segue, but not talking about the one thing. I just want to talk about how it feels to work in a place that you know is not taking care of their employees correctly. Yeah,
We
I'm
did
not letting
work
you.
in
I'm
that
not
place
letting you leave
together.
without talking
Yeah.
about that a little bit,
Oh,
because I know that's all something that we've all talked about off camera, and then we can close it out on a good note. But let's at least start with that. Like, how does that feel, especially because you've all been in positions of either management or, you know, something management adjacent. So you're privy to things that a lot of people who never move up into those positions ever see. So, you know, just briefly, because I don't want to end it on a sour note, I just want to start the conversation. How does that feel when you're working at a place and you have people that you really care about, that work under you, work for you, and really believe in you, especially as their leader, but you can tell, as you said before, the people above you just don't even see them as people. And how do you manage that on a day in, day out basis?
Well, that's rough. Well, okay, I'll start because that actually happened to me and her, in a sense where I was a supervisor and they didn't want to promote me because of a certain incident. And a lot of times it was like, oh, but she did this.
I would say she was blacklisted, but should I say yellow?
I was yellow listed.
She was highlighted.
Ding. 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 We all gasped.
Right. Look, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
But basically,
Serious, guys.
she came into the location that I worked at, and they literally told her, it's like, not worth her time. Like, she's no, you know. She took a chance on me because she believed in me. She didn't care what all these other people had to say about me, because the thing is, they never worked with me. They don't know my worth ethics. They based it on one incident, and that was it. They wrote me off. Like, that's it. And she believed in me and pushed me forward as she moved forward. So for me, someone took a chance on me, and I continued to grow after that. And I appreciate that. I appreciate her every single day, because if it wasn't for her, I would not be the manager that I am today. I would not be the person that I am today. Like, a lot of my skill set and a lot of things that I do, the way I manage, is because of her. Till this very day. And so whenever I'm in a position that I can bring someone forward, I do the same thing, because it takes only one person to believe in you to move you forward. You fight for that person when you see the potential, which is what she saw in me. She saw potential. And so she took me with her. And I'm grateful for that every single day. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a big moment
That was
for
really
sure.
cute. Yeah.
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 Well, everyone's looking at me, so I hadn't prepared a story.
No, you're I was just looking up. I'm
I,
like, where am I supposed to look?
I will say, just as a segue in the story, because you did kind of remind me of something when I was listening to your story as well. It's just thinking of a moment where you could have been judged one way, but instead you were judged another. You know, I had that happen at my current job about a year ago. Like, I had an incident where to this day I still have no idea what the fuck happened, because it was not a night that I overindulged or anything like that, but I don't remember anything after midnight at all. But, you know, my team there that I work with, my managers that I work with and everything like that, they were like, something seemed off, like, seemed like maybe someone might have got to you or something like that because you seemed completely out of it. And I just remember waking up the next day before I even talked to them, feeling this sense of, oh, I let everybody down, and feeling really bad. Like, hey, everyone expects me to, do my job, do it to the best of my abilities. I felt like I did that. And yet somehow I have like 12 hours of my life that are just missing, that are just gone. And I've only had that happen in instances where I was drugged. So I don't know if that's what happened, and I'm not using that as an excuse. What I will say though is that by the time I got to work the next day and I went and talked to everyone, it was a very supportive, hey, no, we knew that wasn't you. Something wasn't right. We don't know what it was, this and that. And since then, it did give me an opportunity to kind of look within myself and say, how can I be better at this job? Even if you feel like you've done everything you could do in that instance, when people do believe in you, when people do have your back, you want to try even harder for them. And that was what I felt, like listening to your story and kind of identifying that in myself. And it does give you like a different sense of energy when you know that you're working for the people around you and you know how much they actually do believe in you as an individual, not just as a worker.
Right. But let me just, you touched on something that I was going to say, because I was like, let me give you your flowers, baby girl. Because it was not like you didn't do the work. I am not an easy manager to work for in the sense that I require a lot. If I see something in you, I'm like a coach. Like, I'm not just going to let you like skirt by. I mean, if you want this, right, I'm going to give you my all, but I expect something in return. So she had to do some work for this. It wasn't like, oh, I just get you promoted. Like, no. It's give and take. Well, I'm gonna give you everything, but you got to give me something back. You know what I'm saying? And she was willing to do the work for that. And even with everything else going on, so it's like, I'll shield you as much as I can from the ownership or like the whoever that still was coming under, like, trying to attack and like trying to prevent that. Like till the very end, I'm gonna do what I have to do, but you still have to show up and show yourself approved. And in those times where like I'm very vocal and transparent in my leadership. That's just part of my personality. So I'm vocal and I challenge upward to ownership. Like my mom raised me not to fear any man, right? So and like by man I mean like person, human. Right. So I will always challenge upward. Now that is not always received the best. I'll try to clasp differently or look less, whatever, but it's not always received the best way, but I am going to give that feedback. And if a company really wants to grow and improve, and if they really want to know what's going on with their like, ground level employees, then they'll listen. But if not, then I'm going to be transparent with my staff and be like, look, I'm working for you. I'm trying my best, but I'm hitting these roadblocks because I want them to know what's going on. And that's how you can like earn trust. But then also, if this isn't the place for either of us in this sense, if we realize that all the work we're doing, someone doesn't have our back, then make your exit strategy.
We made an exit strategy for sure, the two of us.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
If you do not feel welcome, get out.
Yeah.
Life's too short.
Every place
Absolutely.
is not for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Every place is not for everyone.
And every place is not forever.
That's
That
the thing,
matters.
because we'll overstay our
Big
welcome
deal.
because it's familiar. And see, and that can go back to the dating thing that we was
Yeah.
talking about, but that's a whole
other, that's a
thing.
different,
I'm gonna take a
that's a
drink.
different podcast.
That is a different.
podcast.
That is a different one.
That's the after hours.
Yeah, we normally kind of steer away from the relationship stuff as much as possible, only because there's so many other podcasts out there already covering relationship stuff.
Yeah.
But relationships within the service industry is one of those things that I would love to talk about. Personally, though, I feel we need a larger group.
It would be great, though.
Yeah, I feel that a relationship show, I feel like a 6 to 8 dynamic, I would like to see like equal representation though.
Yes.
Not
so.
just
There's 4.
male, female, not just hetero, everything. I'd
Yeah.
like, that's going to take a little bit more time.
I mean,
for
Black,
me.
Mexican, and Asian.
Yeah, all of it.
Yeah.
But
I've run the joke into the ground. Yes,
Yeah.
the gays. I think it's important
Yeah.
for our
Yeah.
industry, especially.
Absolutely.
especially,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
we're very, very, very big allies on this show. This is one of the things that we've always stood on. That's one of the reasons why I said before earlier, not that it's an ally thing, but I am very humbled to be invited to be on this episode because, you didn't have to because I
Yeah.
actually gave you the floor. You could have just had
I
it. And I appreciate it.
personally requested. I was like, but wait, like when I was told, I was like, oh no, it's just gonna be you guys. I was like, which I love, but also,
We do
You
this
know?
all the time.
No,
Yeah.
I appreciate the guidance and
Yeah.
the welcoming because I'll be the first to admit that I was a little apprehensive about being on the show.
You're one of the first people that I've had to reach out to outside of a conversation. Like, normally, whether someone reaches out to me directly to be on or anything like that, once it's a yes, it's a yes. But this one, me and Jamie were talking. She actually called me and she even said, "I'm sorry I called you because I know you hate phone calls." She was like, "But it's about Tennie and I'm driving. So we gotta talk now." And I was like, "All right, cool. This fits. That's an emergency kind of deal in a sense. Like,
It's like
it's
we
important.
got to make this work now.
We have to do it now." Like James said, before she changes her mind.
that's I don't want to do it anymore.
That was the next thing.
Yeah.
Like I started, once I started thinking again,
Yeah.
like, well, hold on,
Don't let
wait,
her think
shit.
about it too much, or
Yeah.
else she'll
Just like every other woman in my life.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
let her think about it too much. And I guess we'll end it there.
And
huh?
on that
No, I'm
note,
kidding.
No, but I appreciate that my girl
No,
knew
well,
me,
let's,
and she called me too, and was
yeah.
like, and I was like, everything okay? Like, and she was like, I just wanted to go over some things. I was like, okay, thank you.
good.
Oh, no, we're not going to cover that, P.
What?
The thing we already talked about not talking about. He was wondering if we were going to talk about that, but we're not going to talk about it. You know.
I know what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. We weren't supposed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, what
yeah.
we were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, no, maybe. I don't know. Kind of, sort of. Anyway, P, get out here. Let's take these shots and let's close this out, man. Yo, stop fucking texting me like a.
Or
fucking-
or we can come back again, the three of us.
Yeah, we'll
Yes,
do.
if you would love to tell that story at a later time,
Maybe
please
at a
come
later
back.
time, yeah.
Yes. Didn't need it anyway.
That's fine. That's fine.
It's like I'm done with the
That's
show.
fine. Oh,
I don't know what's going on. Well, you poured those shots. Oh, just for us three?
for me.
Like
I
Oh, you
love
only
the
poured 2
ramekins that
shots?
we're using for shot
Oh, you're a
glasses.
cocksucker.
so
It is
this one-
very
this one is for
that is
Tennie.
very food and beverage.
All right, guys. Sorry, we're doing this in real time. We did not plan out the closing
I'll pour
shots.
mine. Sure,
But now you get to stare at P's
Is that
ass.
what I've-
I
Will you
guess
put
that'll
mine
get us a
as
few
well?
more views. I don't fucking know.
Which thing you want, Terramona?
No, I
Jesus
would like the
Christ,
Jessica.
Jamie.
Look at Jamie making a mess.
That's a
Never mind.
slipper.
Oops, having the rest.
You want to switch?
Yeah,
All
What'd you
right.
do?
I poured too
She
much.
poured too
Oh,
much. There we go.
Party on.
Yeah.
I appreciate Peace pour. That was nice.
Yeah. Get your ass out here, boy.
Our lovely producers.
Get your ass out here.
Is that what we call them?
Producers, I guess producers.
Producer?
Yeah, they're producing. I gotta do one too. Yes, you do. We are now being
It was already
joined.
waiting for you.
Hold on. We are now being joined by P and Scrappy Chris. That will always be his name. It is what it is. But yo, thank you to everyone who came on this episode, for everyone who's watching, and we will see you again next week. Cheers.
Cheers.